Elliot,
Nice.
thanks for joining, man.
Thanks for having me.
I know, it's so funny. We got connected the other day through a mutual friend, and what's hilarious, I've seen your videos. You're pushing everything here in Idaho, which
Yeah.
I'm against.
Yeah, sorry, man.
I get it. The wife's in real estate as well, so I understand that give take where we love this area so much, but at the same time, I wanna keep it as special as it is, but I understand the business side of things and the hustle. But it's funny. I've watched a lot of your stuff, and you're always pushing out the new trends and what's happening in the valley and everything. And you have a pretty interesting story as far as where you're born, how you got to the States, and the success that you've built up to now.
Yeah.
So, man, I guess we could just, before we jump into it, make sure I got to send you home. I do something cool, kind of a little bit different here. I offer any veteran or law enforcement small businesses to send me products, apparel, anything, just to be able to promote them for free. Okay. It's something that I want to do to give back to the community. So we got the War Machine or Platoon cigars. Okay. I know we just had cigars the other night, so I know you're a cigar guy. Yeah. So I'll make sure to send him some of those. He was a Marine, got out, became a cop in Chicago, and got shot in the line of duty. Crazy story. We're going to have him on. And so I want to be able to help any of these guys as we can. Sea State Coffee is a local coffee guy. He's a Marine, recon Marine. Hilarious guy. I've had him on the show before. We're going to have him back on. So I'll make sure to send you home with some coffee grounds and some cold brews, which...
Hey, what's the note to that?
Borderline meth.
Yeah, I guess you cooking.
Don't drink them past like 8 in the morning or you're wired all night. One of those.
I like a nice little 2 p.m. pick-me-up, so maybe that's not a good idea.
These will be till the next day.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's great. I actually, the first coffee I've ever drank was his. I've put it off for my whole entire life, but I had him on the episode and he called me out and made me try it. It was actually pretty good. Nice. So, I want to give a shout out to these guys just because they're awesome companies and they're veteran-owned or law enforcement-owned, so we try to send every guest home with something. We normally have a loaf of bread for you, but our oven literally just shit the bed a couple days ago and we ordered a new one. We have a bakery, go figure. So
that's awesome, but I don't need the carbs right now. I'm trying to get tight. So that actually works out pretty good.
Perfect, Ed. Perfect. So dude, why don't we just jump into it, man? Give me a little bit of background on where you are and then we'll just hop right into your life story because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you want to talk about where I'm at right now or where I came from? What do you want?
We'll start where you came from, but little bio about yourself.
Little bio. So my name's Elliot Hoyte. I had to practice this the other day because I was told I need to be more intentional with it. Okay. I am the founder and strategic leader of THG Real Estate. We're real estate brokers that work both business to business and business to customer here in the Treasure Valley.
Got it.
And my team help people buy and sell real estate, and we also help. You hate this, I know. We also represent developers on the construction and sale of their stuff too. Someone's got to do it, so at least someone can do it ethically. You know what I mean?
I get it, man. I understand. Yeah. So it's a tough pill to swallow.
It is. I'm sorry, man.
So especially if you watch how much growth is just going here in the valley, which is great. I mean, you don't want to be in a dying community or area, but at the same time, it's bringing the numbers.
The way I look at it is it's going to happen. Someone's going to do it. Mm-hmm. So you might as well have people that do it responsibly. 100%. So what we try and do is bring some responsibility to the process. So yeah.
So where are you from, man? Let's just get right into it.
I'm born and raised in a small town called Tavistock in England in the UK.
Really?
So that's where I was born and raised, a town of 10,000 people. Okay. Not many people really get out and do a whole lot there. If I go back, bless them, if I go back, there'll be people that are doing the same thing than when I left.
I feel you.
13, 14 years ago.
I feel you.
I was born and raised in a small town called Tavistock in England. Both my parents still together, grew up with my parents and my little sister. It was a great childhood. Okay. Wasn't always easy. Like we had what we needed, but didn't always have what we wanted. Yeah. And it was relatively unremarkable. It was in a good way, in the best way, really. And I was an athlete growing up my whole life, so I played sports from my earliest memories, from like 3 or 4 years old, kicking a soccer ball around.
I was going to say, you guys are born with soccer balls.
I mean, it doesn't matter whether you are 5'2" and 100 pounds and a grown ass man, or if you are 7 foot tall and 400 pounds, you know how to kick a soccer ball. Mm-hmm. So I can still do it. It's been a long time, but grew up playing soccer and rugby, and then didn't actually start playing football, American football, till I was like 16. So I was a late bloomer there. And
really?
That's how I got to America. Yeah, I got to America. I played football at Boise State. That's how I got to America. And I didn't actually play a proper American football until I was 16 years old. I had no clue what I was doing, but I was not much smaller at 16, 17 than I am now at 31
You're a massive human being.
I was not much smaller when I was 16, 17.
I was going to say either the rugby or American football. Yeah. I feel traditional football was not your destiny.
No, I always had fouls called against me, never had fouls called on me. My coach was like, I'm not sure if this is for you. Not because you're not an athlete, but you're just too big. So I stuck with rugby. And then football naturally found its way into my life, and that was an even better fit. So
what your childhood growing up? I mean, what's the area like? The city, town you're growing up in?
So Tavistock, the town that I grew up in, is about 20 minutes, probably like more like 35, 40 now, because there's been growth there too, north of the next biggest city called Plymouth, which is a bigger naval city. But Tavistock's this small, what they call a stannery town, so it's built on mining. Kind of traditionally, back in the day, more working class. And it's a nicer, it's not upper end by any means. It was a nicer area, but it's really small, 10,000 population. Yet my kind of middle school / high school was over 2,000. So 20% of the population was students. And they got bussed in from all different areas around.
What was that like? Towns. I mean, so if you're bussing a bunch of people in, then that brings a bunch of different characters.
Oh, we had farmers and then city people. We had a big mix.
Okay,
a big mix. It was kind of. I actually got exposed to a lot of. I wouldn't say it was like diverse culture, but I did get exposed to a lot of different backgrounds kind of early on. And I was one of like maybe 3 or 4 black kids in the entire school.
No shit.
So I learned pretty quick I was different. For sure.
Yeah. How was that like? I mean, you're the one of 3 or 4 black kids in the whole school. So, I mean, is it dealing like how shit it is here, or is it just everybody's kind of...
I didn't actually realize I wasn't... I don't think I realized I was different until probably, it was like I think it was 3rd or 4th grade in elementary school, actually. That was the first time I kind of experienced racism. And I wouldn't even call it racism. It was just kids making fun of me because I looked different.
Okay.
I didn't actually... I'll be 100% honest with you. I didn't really experience that kind of prejudice or that kind of, people may be judging you for the way you look until I moved to America, believe it or not.
Really?
That was the first time where there was definitely situations that are hard to explain. If you've been through it, where people kind of a little bit more standoffish maybe, or if you know, but I never let that affect me or bother me.
For sure.
I try and I use those opportunities where people are uncomfortable to make them feel comfortable and be like, hey, you know what? Like maybe you don't have much experience with minorities, but I promise you I'm no different to anyone else.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. And that's the best outlook to look at that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you're growing up playing soccer, rugby, which is the most manliest sport I feel like besides UFC fighting and shit. Yeah. I wish rugby was bigger here in the States. But so you did that, and then you started to play football at 16.
Yeah.
Now, when you got a little taste of American football, what was your thoughts on that compared to obviously rugby and
completely different? So rugby, you have to carry. You're playing. Imagine playing football with that to a degree, that level of intensity, but at the pace of soccer. So it's just nonstop. Yep. So rugby was tough, and I had to be a lot lighter to carry myself around playing rugby. When I got to playing football, I played at a much lower level, obviously in England, playing club. It was fun because it was like a little bit more of a slower pace of rugby, but a little bit more violent in a way. It wasn't actually till I moved to America and I played, for Boise State. There's a huge jump going from playing club American football to playing for a top 10 team in the country. That was when my mind really got buzzed. I was like, hang on a second, this is serious. Like this is not a joke.
In my mind, I'm just baffled by. So American football is only in club sports.
Yeah, there's 2 schools that now do it since I left. One's called one is called the South Gloucester College, and college in England means high school normally. So South Gloucester College have their own little team and they travel around Europe and other different places to play.
Really?
And then there's the NFL Academy now. The NFL now have their own academy in the UK, which has been added since I left. And that academy basically trains guys, kind of like IMG is here in Florida, to kind of get ready to go out to the US. But none of that existed when I was back home. I did make it on my own.
So it is growing over there, though?
Yeah, it's definitely growing. Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yeah,
interesting.
The world's more globalized than it ever was, so it's a lot easier to consume, view, and watch football now. Yeah. So yeah, it's growing for sure.
Oh,
shit.
Sure. Yeah. So how did that transition from club football bring you to the US?
Yeah, long story short, I'll try and make a long. I'll give you the whole story because it's a pretty cool story. So I was 13 or 14 years old playing club rugby back home, and this American rugby team, high school team, came over for a tour of my area. So they played against Tavistock, which is where I'm from, and a bunch of different other clubs in the area. And my dad was one of my youth coaches at the time, and my head coach was asked to kind of guest coach this American team that were coming to stay. And my dad was asked by my head coach at the time, "Hey, do you want to come and help out?" So my dad was like, "Sure." And this was the night he actually asked him this question. We were driving back on a bus from our own tour of the rest of the country, playing some kind of travel games. And my dad asked me, "Hey, do you want to come along and watch this American team?" And it's funny because I wasn't sure. I was tired because we got back super late, and I was like, "I don't know if I want to get up that early, Dad." And I managed to wake up early enough where he came in. I think he came and woke me up. He was like, hey, come on, let's go. So I put on my shorts and went out, and he kind of used me to demonstrate drills. And I got to hang out with this American team for the 2 weeks they were there. And there was this guy they had playing for them who was a really good rugby player. His name was Chase. And he was also a really good football player. He was from Rocklin, in Northern California. That's where this team came from. And Chase was being recruited by a bunch of like Pac-12 schools for football, and was also a really good rugby player, and had a bunch of like different kind of smaller offers from those California rugby schools. And Chase was being recruited by all these teams. And he actually tore his ACL in one of the games in England. Big dude. He played defensive tackle, fullback, and then played center in rugby. His job was to like carry the ball and run people over. He tore his ACL. And that was kind of it. I didn't really hear from him from years. Obviously, they went back. And I started playing football at 16, and my dad got the ESPN package in the UK. And we turned on the TV like 3 or 4 years later, I think it was, 5 years later, 4 or 5 years later. And he turns on the TV, and it was Boise State were playing, I think it was Oregon at the time. And I saw Chase on TV. I was like, wait, hang on, that's the Chase that I knew from rugby.
So he made it.
He made it. Every other Pac-12 school pulls off when he tore his ACL, but Boise State didn't. Boise State were playing Oregon. I saw Chase, and I hit him up on Facebook. I was like, hey, do you remember me? He said, yeah, I remember you. What are you doing now? I said, well, funny enough, I just started playing football. He said, okay, send your film out. I want to take a look at it. So sent my film out, sent my highlights. He shared it with the coaches at Boise State, and the next year they invited me out to camp in 2011. Really? The summer camp. I'd already graduated high school. I was about to graduate high school. Yeah. And they invited me out to summer camp, and they offered me a scholarship on like the second day of camp. Just like that. And they were like, is there not a scholarship offer? It was Coach Pete at the time, and I was like, yeah, I got nothing else to do for the next. I was working at a grocery store at the time, actually.
Wait. Yeah. So you send video to a high school kid that you met years prior.
Yeah, that happened to play at Boise State.
Shared it with the coaches. He shows the coaches, and you fly you out, and then they give you a full ride scholarship.
Yeah, I spent 2 days here, and I was raw.
That's incredible.
But I was just throwing guys around, and they were like, all right, we can probably figure out how to make this work. So
we could do this.
Yeah, so that's a whole other story, getting to the point where I actually was good enough to play, but I was good enough to get my foot in the door, and that's all I needed was a chance, and never look back. So yeah, that was my story. If I hadn't gotten out of bed that one morning and gone to that practice, I would not be here.
Your life would be completely different.
I'll tell you what I was doing in between. Before I actually went out to the camp, I just graduated high school. I was just getting ready to graduate high school. And England, high school is a little bit different. When you do your last 2 years, the workload's a lot less because you're working on kind of like pre-grad or like college courses. I was working at a grocery store full time. I was literally stacking shelves for Tesco, which is a grocery store. And if I didn't get a scholarship, I wasn't ready to go to university back home. I had everything lined up. I would have been literally stacking groceries. That was my future if I didn't figure it out. So
man. Yeah, that is insane. And so so you get a full ride scholarship offered to you. You go back home, tell the parents, "Hey, Boise wants me to play for him." What was it? How do your parents take this?
Yeah, my dad actually came out with me for that week and a bit that I was out here.
So he's super proud. So
he knew, and my dad actually, I didn't tell you the full story. I guess my dad actually did play college football. He's from England too. Okay. He played for the University of Akron back in the 80s.
Really?
And he played in the first year of the World League of American Football, which was the first year of NFL Europe essentially. So I did have some pedigree. It was 20 plus years before.
How big's your dad?
My dad's not as tall as me. My dad's only 6'3", but he's twice as wide. I mean, straight African genes. And I was like. Like he's old now, but I still wouldn't fight him. Still, he's like a grizzly bear. Like that's how my dad's built, basically.
Okay, all right,
my dad, you wouldn't mess with.
You got to respect that.
He's a little bit, a little bit different.
Hey, they were raised different back then.
It was. You could. There's stuff you can't. There's stuff if you did as a parent now, you get locked up for. You back then it was free game. I came home. My dad knew he came home, told my mom, and she was happy for me, obviously, but also kind of sad. She's like, wait, my son who I've had in the house for 18 years is gonna get shipped off. But yeah, everyone was happy for me, and there was actually a lot of people that said I couldn't do it, which was great because I've always been motivated by people who said I couldn't do stuff. So it was really nice to come and give them the middle finger and say, fuck you, I did it. So at least got the offer. I mean, the next step was a lot more, but I got that offer that I was looking for. So yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. So then the work begins.
Yeah.
Because now it just got real. I mean, you weren't training to go to college.
No, I was, and nothing prepares you. So I gray shirted. So I got the offer in, it would have been June or July of 2011. I gray shirted, which means you kind of sign or commit, but you don't come until the following kind of winter.
And then if you sat that would be a red shirt, right? That's the difference.
And I red shirted too. So bear with me on this. I graduated high school, and then gray shirted. So I got my offer in like July. I committed within a couple of weeks.
For sure.
I sat out that whole season because I didn't sign for that period. So 2011, I missed that season. 2012 was when I actually officially signed. I came to campus January of 2012, and then I redshirted all of 2012 season. So I went almost 3 years without playing a game of football between the last one and the next one I played in. But yeah, I had to gray shirt and red shirt. I came out January of 2012, and I wouldn't say I was in bad shape. I wasn't in football ready shape, and that was a shock to the system. Not only was I learning a new culture. I mean, don't get me wrong, we speak the same language by and large. The culture's different. I was learning a new culture. I was learning about football, like truly about football. It was a crash course, and it was tough, really tough.
So in that amount of time, I mean, did you stay over? Or did you come back?
No, I went, so I got the offer in July, and I was in England from July until that January. Like, I came out to Boise in January 2012. I watched, obviously, every single game of the season at home. Yeah. But I came out in January 2012. It was cold as hell with nothing. It was just me on my own, and...
So when you finally came here, what did your parents ship you off with? I mean, how do you prepare a child to leave the country?
I don't know. I don't know if they were ready. I don't know if I was ready. They gave me, I had 2 duffel bags, I remember the 2 black shut, the helmet maker shut. Okay. I had these 2 bags I got that were like gifts with some football equipment I bought years ago. So these 2 black shut mesh bags, and they gave me $600 in a brown paper envelope, and that was it. I had no bank account. I had a phone, I had my wallet and my ID and my passport, some papers that said I was supposed to be there, allowed to be there, 2 bags of clothes and some little mementos my grandma gave me, like a blanket and some other stuff, and $600 in a brown envelope. And that was literally it. 18 years old, they said, off you go.
Really?
Oh, that was it. I was just, no family, nothing. Just, yeah. At the time, I was like, I mean, I wasn't nervous at the time. I don't think I realized how deep of shit I was in until a couple weeks after. I was like, oh no, this is it. Like, I'm not going home. I'm here. Like,
I'm committed now. This is big boy league.
Yeah,
so
literally, yeah.
So how was the culture, obviously besides speaking, same late, what did you find to be the most culture shocking part of coming to the U.S.?
There's a couple of things. How PG do I have to be?
Don't have to be.
All right, we're good. All right.
Yeah, this is wild chaos,
okay,
bro.
There's 2 things. First one, a couple. Humor. American humor is different to English or British humor. Like, I can self-deprecate, or I can make fun of you in England, having not having that much background with you. Out here, you can't do that. Like, people get offended a lot more easily. Even the toughest people get more offended. That was kind of a tough one to kind of figure out. The other one that was kind of positive in a way. School is a lot easier here. Like,
really,
there's not a single class I took in college that was harder than the moderate classes I took in high school, in my last years of high school. Like, the schooling's a lot easier here. Culturally, like, it's a different thing. And I think a lot of people would say that they've been to other schools.
For sure.
Other countries.
That's why we homeschool.
Yes, right, yeah. You teach them what they need to know, right?
Exactly.
Obviously, the football, that was the biggest cultural adjustment, and just understanding how big college football was out here. I kind of knew because I'd watched college football, but until you're actually immersed in the environment to understand that people live and breathe this. And still, Boise's a big college town, but not compared to the SEC or any other places that I've kind of been to or played at or seen. The last one is the women. That was...
Really? How so? How do American women differ from across the pond, I guess?
It's too easy, man. It was too easy. Like,
really?
I was like, it didn't make sense. I'm like, wait, what? Like... In my head, I'm like, I'm a 5 out of 10 attractiveness, and you think I'm like a 10? Like, what? And it was the accent. Like, right away, they were like, oh, you sound different. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's exotic. Like, not only am I not white, I sound different too. Like, yeah, it was
shooting fish in a barrel.
Oh yeah, it was a great time.
Now, if American men go over, is it the opposite for them? Or are they not?
I'm American. So I'm an American citizen now. I'm both. Yeah. I'm dual American and UK. So I feel like I can say this. Yeah. Most of the rest of the world hate Americans.
Oh, for sure. We're assholes,
dude. English women are not infatuated, I don't think, by American men. I think it takes someone very special to break that barrier. So,
I can see that. I've been fortunate enough to travel all over the world, and it's where are you from? Oh God, like you know,
Canada,
right on the U.S. border. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's interesting for sure. We're definitely not loved everywhere, and I could see why. We're kind of assholes, but we're fucking America, right?
Oh yeah, it is what it is. You're the cousin that everyone has to give a pass to. So that's just America.
We're the drunk cousin or the uncle at every family function. There's got to be a belligerent asshole. It's usually us.
Hey, you said it, man. I mean, I can say it too now, but you said it. So
hey, you're flying the flag. So so you get all settled in. You come here with 2 duffel bags, $600 in your pocket. And you're learning Boise. So now you're learning college football. But I mean, then again, UK soccer, those fans are some of the craziest. I mean,
it's a different type of fandom. Like, it's a lot of it was to do with like the monetary resources too. So the fandom for like soccer in the UK and in Europe and even South America to an extent, like that level of like fanatic is obviously that's where a fan comes from. Is fanatic. That level of fanaticism is unrivaled. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can get college stadiums that are loud and whatnot, but the level like soccer in England for a lot of people that are regular jobs or working class, like soccer is, they live for the weekend. Like that soccer match is the biggest thing. That's
their escape.
So that's it. That's their escape. That's everything that they put their week towards. So that's a different type. What was the biggest shock culturally here was just the sheer financial backing that schools have. Like the amount of money and resources. Like Boise State have better facilities than most Premier League soccer stadiums or facilities, for example. So that was one of the biggest things, was like seeing just how much money was circulated and invested in what we were doing. And that was, when I moved here, that was 13 years ago at this point. So that's tripled since then. I went back to the facility a few weeks ago, actually, just to catch up with a few people. And just the amount of resources they've had now since I've left is even crazier. So that's the biggest thing. Just this American society in general is very much about capitalism, obviously, and making money and economy. And you couple that with sports. Sports is kind of the epitome of that. So it was just a new world of money and resources I wasn't used to and wasn't expecting.
So where you're from, do they tailgate?
No,
it's straight to the stadium.
They go to the pub, drink beer, fight, stab each other, sing some songs, literally, and then go to the stadium.
Go to the stadium and then do it on the way home?
And then do it again on the way home.
So was tailgating interesting for you?
Tailgating was like, I mean, I obviously read about it, seen it, and seen videos and stuff. And this was before social media really blew up, so a lot of what I consumed was on television. But it was crazy that people actually get to the stadium 6-7 hours before the game, watch 2 or 3 football games, and they're drinking beer in the parking lot at 10. Like, it was just a different. Not that you wouldn't. I mean, you drink vodka at 2 a.m. in England before you go to a soccer game, but it was just different seeing it. Americans do it in a parking lot in the middle of nowhere.
And they go all out. I mean, if you've never truly experienced real tailgating parties,
and that's the thing. I don't even know if I mean. I was fortunate enough to go to a friend's wedding in Arkansas last year, and it wasn't football season, but the SEC is even different. Like their level of tailgate and their level of it's just a different level. So I don't even know if I've truly seen real tailgating yet. Yeah,
it's impressive. Are you familiar with Modern Day, the high school team?
Yeah.
I mean, they're like top dog. When I was in the Marine Corps, I had to do the color. We got asked to present the colors for the game there. So we show up super early, and I'm from upstate New York, so Syracuse that's home for us. And I remember going to tailgating parties, and you'd see your teacher just completely just shit faced, like, oh, I got you. You can't. I see your true colors. So I grew up tailgating with Syracuse and things like that. But then when I went to a Modern Day event when I was in the Marine Corps to do the colors, I mean, those parents, they had like a wagon wheel of their own mobile kitchens. All in a circle.
This is high school, isn't it? Yeah. So
I mean, I'm talking $100,000 like mobile trailer just for barbecue pits.
That's a private school, though, right? Isn't it? Yeah, there you go. They got that money.
The alumni just funds every. Yeah, I mean that school's on a whole other level. But I remember walking around like, this is high, and the players were your size.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because it's private. They can recruit.
Yeah, they can grow them.
They can do whatever they need. Yeah. And I remember like, God, this is high school. This is a whole other level. I mean, it's just. It's insane. So I can only imagine you coming here and going walking out and being like, "What?"
It was. Yeah, we started. It's just a different culture, man. It was just
way
nuts.
different.
I wish I'd been prepared, but nothing prepares you until you're actually in the environment.
Yeah. So once you started training, wow, how much was the intensity or the tempo? Going straight into a college program.
I remember like the first workouts I did. So anyone that knows DeMarcus Lawrence, DeMarcus Lawrence plays for Dallas Cowboys. DeMarcus and I actually came in at the same time. He's a different class to me. He came in from junior college and I came in as a freshman. But I remember I went through workouts with DeMarcus and a bunch of other guys. They were kind of assimilating us that first couple of weeks before we got in. And that was truly, believe it or not, the first times I properly thrown up during a workout. And it wasn't even that hard of a stuff when I look back at it. I just wasn't ready for it. It's crazy. I mean, I've chatted to people about this before. I don't have any military experience myself per se, but I think there's some similarities and crossovers in the way that they trained us. It was very much psychological.
Yeah.
They did a lot of really fucked up shit to make you. I mean, just to push you. They wanted to push you to your limit so that when it came to game day, which was like the battlefield for us, nothing fazed you because you've been through it.
Through it all.
And there's very few games I played in where I felt like I was pushed the same way I did during some of the training, which is like some of the conditioning, some of the stuff you did. I mean, until you've literally laid at the top of Camelback Park, that big hill we have down there in Boise, and you've laid on your side and you're throwing up on yourself, you don't know what it's like to be pushed until you get to that point. That's a true story. Throwing up. I almost shit my pants one time. Like everyone's been through it. Has done it. Like if you haven't pissed yourself, shit yourself, thrown up on yourself at some point in Division I football practice training, you have not done it enough. Yeah. It's a true story.
Facts, bro. Hey, there ain't no shame.
No, it's what it is, man. That's what we're all out
and
there.
anybody that wants to knock it's never pushed themselves that far. I mean, I've pushed her where we walked out of the gym before, it just pukes everywhere. And I'm like,
dude.
Welcome.
I see.
Especially working out with Zach, doing one of Zach's leg days. Yeah, Zach's run her through leg days.
I was close. I did the leg day with Zach the other day. We did that bike interval where it's 45 seconds on, 45 seconds off, 15 on, then hit the lunges, then back and do that 3 times. And I was starting to see the wizard at a certain point. I thought I was going to meet him for a second.
Yeah, he'll bring the evil out of you real quick. Yeah. So. What's the craziest training day that you can remember? I mean, I know you probably have a ton, but there's got to be one training session that stands out above them all.
It depended on the coaching staff. We did a coaching staff change halfway through my career, but I remember that we'd normally have either a Tuesday and Thursday or like a Tuesday and Friday workout were the hardest ones in the off season. And you used to get a pit in your stomach before you'd hit those. And you kind of got used to it after a while, but it still sucked. And I remember one day, I think it was Wednesday or a Thursday. All right, we've got a special one for you tomorrow. And we're like, what do you mean? And they're like, we need to meet in the team meeting room, like kind of the auditorium at X o'clock, whatever it was, like 1400, whatever the hell it was. And we're going to have a special one. So we get there that next day. I kind of go to bed at night and I'm like, I don't know what this is, but like it's pretty shitty on a normal week. This isn't going to be good. This is in the summer. So we roll up, we get in. And then they start filing in these guys that are missing arms and legs at the front. And I'm like, oh, shit. You know what I mean when I say that? These guys were missing limbs. And they were big as shit. And they were tattooed. And they were wearing military stuff. And I'm like, oh, we're fucked. We are fucked. And it was a bunch of vets that were either like, they were Army Rangers or Navy SEALs. Just all these guys were just completely fucked in the head. Absolutely nuts. And essentially what our coach said was, hey, these guys are going to train you for the next 2 days. And we're all looking at each other. And I got teammates that are like from the hood. I remember distinctly 2 guys turning around, looking at each other going, oh, hell no. And that's how I knew like we were fucked. These guys were tough and they were scared.
You're fucked if you know immediately when someone's walking in the room.
When someone walks in with a missing fucking limb wearing military shit, like they've seen some shit. Like you guys know, like that's not my domain. There's a reason why it's not my domain. That's not my comfort level. These guys come in hard as shit. Our coach basically hands us over. The strength coach hands us over. And these guys basically tell us the rules of engagement for the next 2 days. And they say, all right, go down to your locker room, get changed into your workout stuff. And they take us out to our practice field and proceed to fuck us up royally for about 3 hours straight. They have us doing like butterfly kicks and stuff. They're having us do stuff that maybe to military people doesn't sound that tough. But as an almost 300-pound football player, our bodies aren't used to moving the way they were trying to make us move. So we're doing like flutter kicks and all kinds of stuff. And it was like, if you stop doing what you're doing, like 105 guys out there, right? If one of you fucks up, you have to start again.
Start over
and
again.
we got guys almost fighting each other because like someone's fucking up. We got these massive dudes with missing limbs screaming in our face, you piece of fucking shit. We're sat there like, dude, I wasn't going to cry, but I was really rethinking my life at this point. I'm like, should I just get up and fucking walk out? Like, should I just I'm a senior. I've already been through the whole shit. Like, I've already done.
You're about ready to
I've
walk.
already done 4 years. Like, this is my swan song. I'm like, this is just before the season. I'm like, should I just fucking call it quits? I mean, that's not the mentality, but it crossed my mind for a second. So they got us laying down there, and we're all fucked up. Guys are just like, oh, and I tell you how I knew it was bad. So you got these guys screaming in your face, just telling you, you're the softest motherfuckers they've ever seen. And behind us are our strength coaches. Now, our strength coach, Coach Pittman at the time, Coach Pitt was fucked up in his own way. Like, dude was, he used to enjoy seeing pain. I remember the very first workout he did with us my sophomore year when this coaching staff took over. Guys were running around, throwing up. And I mean, he was trying to break us. Guys were running around, just throwing up everywhere. And I remember a dude was throwing up in front of me, and he goes, yeah, boys, crows got to eat too. But that's how fucked up the guy was. So Coach Pitt stood behind these guys that are training us. Coach Pitt's a tough motherfucker. These guys are screaming at us, and I remember guys were like all messed up, and Coach Pitt stood behind, and he was kind of like adjusting his cap, looking concerned. When he looks concerned, you know shit's about to get squirrely. So
the sadistic training coach looks,
when the devil himself is scared, you know you've met. Like I thought I might have met Jesus at some point that night. Then we start doing the log carries. Now, so probably people watching that know what that is. I didn't know what the hell this thing was. I'm 6'5", so I'm one of the taller guys. I got dang Shane Williams Rhodes behind me, or whoever it was. It's like 5'6" or 5'7", and he's just holding on to the top of this log. And I'm pushing up and down. And
so not only are you holding the log, you're holding the little guy.
And I'm pushing him, hanging him up and down. And then we do like the tosses and the carries, and you got like beat guys, and if you lose, you have to start again. And I remember parts of it, but not a lot because it was that messed up. It was that traumatic. And I remember going and chugging 4 Gatorades after this, pissing brown that night. And I'm like, man, and then we have tomorrow as well. And we had to wake up and meet at like 6 or 7 a.m. the next morning. So I managed to drink enough Gatorade, get enough sleep to be like, all right, okay, I think I might wake up tomorrow. And at that point, I don't know if I want to wake up. I said, if I don't wake up, that's the only noble way up. So maybe if I don't wake up, we're good. But I woke up, unfortunately. And we get
the next day.
We get down to the facilities the next day, and they're, all right, boys, grab your swimmers. And we're like, swimmers? What do you mean swimmers? And they're like, so we don't really have swimmers, so we had to wear our compression shorts.
Okay.
So we put on our compression shorts, and we had to meet at the swimming pool at the wreck.
Oh, no.
And, I mean,
the water's
Navy SEALs,
a different world.
And we're not built, like, this build is not meant for the pool or any of that stuff. And you got guys that can barely even swim. Like, I got teammates that haven't seen, the only body of water they've seen is like, I mean, I even know. Maybe Lucky Peak on a boat at some point, not to swim in, at least.
Especially you get some dude from the hood.
Yeah, we got guys from the hood. Like, you know, like, I'm going to go on record, like, it is what it is. We talked a little bit about the race thing.
This isn't racist.
It's not a myth. There's 2 things. Most black people were not the best swimmers. Most of us. And we don't float, we sink. So that's not the best recipe. So I'm in the pool, and they got us doing this fucked up stuff. We do the swimmers, and we do this like the aquatic workout where we're running and jumping and like half drowning, getting in and out, doing push-ups. Like guys are exhausted. And then the finisher was, I think you know what this is. We were wearing like sweats, like full sweatsuit, like kind of what I'm wearing now. We had to like take them off in the pool and wade the water for 10 minutes, tie it and like blow it up, make a float. And I got a bold ass head too, so that shit sticks to your head when you try to pull it off. I almost drowned in the swimming pool. Like I thought of all the shit I went through playing college football.
I almost drowned.
I didn't think I was going to be drowned in the swimming pool. Anyway, we made it through. That was even more of a flash than the workout before. And I can wholeheartedly say that was the worst experience I've had in all my football training. And it was the last one more towards the end. I would not wish the military upon anyone if that's normal. If that's what you're supposed to do as a Navy SEAL or whatever the hell it is, I want no part of that.
They can have that.
Like, if we have a draft and we have to go to war, don't rely on me. I'm sorry. Like, I'm no good. I'm no good. I can barely swim. Yeah, I'm good, man.
Oh God, that is absolutely hilarious.
That was the worst experience of my conditioning life.
I know every athlete's got one. That's a good one.
We weren't ready for it. I mean,
no, you can't be ready for that.
It's probably it's somewhat not normal, but you get used to that stuff, right? Especially in the military. Like, there's certain stuff you train for. And
it's your suck level. You get used to it.
You build up that resistance. It's that callus you build up. The same way that I could squat 600 plus pounds and bench 400 plus.
Yeah, you get those guys on
it. we were used to doing that.
Yeah.
But doing that type of aquatic workout, like swimming, like you got to build up for that. So to be dropped into that level of intensity right away, man, that was a shock. So yeah, to answer your question in a long ass story, that was my worst experience.
That was
wouldn't do it again.
Shit, bro. That was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I was fucked.
Oh my God, it's so funny about the swimming thing too. Like when I'm from upstate New York. So I had like 2 black kids in our whole school. I'm on the Canadian border in a village. Just it's probably not the best place, And I get to boot camp, and we get to our aquatic week where you're swimming, and I'll never forget we had this little black drill instructor. This guy was tiny, and he had the biggest chiclet teeth you've ever seen. This dude fucking hated me. But I'll never forget, he comes walking out, and he gives this speech, because they call them dark Marines.
Okay.
A black Marine, a dark Marine. And I'll never forget him explaining. He's like, all right, I don't need y'all lying to me. He's like, I know a lot of you dark Marines, we can't swim. And I'm like, I'm like looking around, like, what the fuck's this guy talking about? Like, what? We can't swim. Like, what? I didn't even know what a dark Marine was at the time.
I didn't know that until you told me.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what is this guy talking about? He's like, so we need you to be honest. Like, I know some of y'all from the hood, and y'all can't swim. He's like, I'm not saving you tomorrow. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And we get to the pool, man, and I was like, oh, okay, this is a thing. And then at the time, my rack mate, he's one of my best friends to this day. He's from Orlando, Florida. And I'm like, black people can't swim? He's like, yeah, dude, it's a thing. Like, and I'm like, I had no idea. And I made a comment on a post not too long ago, and this one guy, he was like, stereotypes exist. And it was a black dude making fun of all these black people jumping in a pool. And dude, I got roasted for it. I was like, I had no idea this is a thing until I joined the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got called every name in the book. I'm like, I was just making a comment, but it was hilarious that, and it's a thing. Like,
for the record, I can swim. I'm not the best swimmer because of life skill. But I had teammates that. Yeah, they were just stones in the water.
I've seen a lot of white dudes do it too. They're drowning, they're saving their asses. Oh my God, bro, that's hilarious. Yeah. So, okay, let's backtrack a little bit. Your first day, your first game, I should say. What's it feel like? I grew up an athlete. I could have gone the college route, but the war broke out, and that was my out. Instead of taking that football route. I've played with some pretty big games, and I got to go to a championship. We made it to the playoffs my senior year, but anyways, I had a game-winning touchdown when I was a junior. So I've got to experience some of that. What does it feel like walking out of the tunnel for your very first suited-up day playing at that college stadium?
The thing was, as a freshman at least, Boise State have always been good. So we were deep. I mean, you had at least two deep guys that would rotate any given time on the defensive line and play defensive line. You'd have, your 3 and 4 and even 5th sometimes, which was kind of your scout team. So if you were further down, which I was starting out, you didn't know when your first game was going to be.
Okay.
My redshirt year, though, that I redshirted, guys for the first half of the season, at least, they dress you. You go through warm-ups, even though you weren't playing, because they kind of want you to get used to that environment. Yeah, absolutely. So I remember the first game, it would have been... it was a day game. I can't remember exactly who it was. And that was the first game I was at least in the suit for. Not my first game playing. I can tell you that story in a minute. But I remember kind of going out there doing the warm-ups and stuff. And the stadium was starting to get full, but not a whole lot of people in there. And you kind of just getting warm. And you got your lowers on and stuff. And I was all right. This is kind of a cool environment. It wasn't heating yet. And then I remember coming back out again. Now you got your helmet and your shoulder pads on, and then the stadium's starting to get full. Now you're going through actual contact, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And for the record, I'd never seen a college football game, never. I'd never ever seen one in person. I'd never been part of that environment, and all of a sudden I'm in this environment, suited up, and even though I knew I wasn't going to play that game, I'm still in it. I'm like, oh shit! So it was. I don't remember it that well because again, I won't say it's trauma. It's not. It's just one of those poignant moments where you're like, shit, like you just kind of take it all in. I remember going through the warm ups and stuff, and I was like, damn. And anyway, it was crazy. I remember them chanting Boise State. They do that, one side Boise State, kind of coming up the tunnel. I remember I was towards the back of the tunnel because you're a freshman. They're not really trying to, they're not trying to push you the whole way to the front. And I remember you have the smoke come up and everyone's chanting. So Seven Nation Army is the song that we always come out the tunnel to, and we have for the last, I think, 15 or so years. And all the guys start chanting that song or start humming it. And I remember Faraji's from Oakland. I remember Faraji's at the front, and I hear him say, it doesn't go quiet, but I can hear it loud enough. We're getting ready to run, and he goes, "This ain't a movie, dog." I remember that. Yeah. And I was like, it really wasn't like a movie. It was real life.
Real life.
And we ran out, and I was just like, oh, shit, this is crazy.
That's got to be such an incredible feeling.
It was awesome. That was incredible. It was incredible. And then fast forward to the next year, my redshirt freshman years after I redshirted, you didn't really know when your first game was going to be because I was in the reserves. I wasn't really part of the rotation, but you knew the basic kind of playbook. And I remember we were playing Tennessee Martin. So they're like a Division I FCS team. I think we're blowing them up by 50 points. And my number got called halfway through the fourth quarter. And I was like, oh shit. I remember running out there. I was kind of ready. I was like, all right, I'm up. I remember running out there, getting to my position, turning back and looking to the sideline because you get your signals for the play from the sideline. And even though we were blowing them out, the crowd was still there and it starts getting loud. And I remember turning around, got the play call, and then the offensive line started running out towards me. And I was like, oh shit, this is real. I'm actually here now. All the practice in the world doesn't prepare you for the first game. No, I remember my first ever play was a quick shed and a tackle. So I think I'll be honest, from that point onwards, you're not scared. But that first play, I was so scared. I was just like,
well, because
just brute strength,
when you stand on a field in those stadiums, they're so steep.
Yeah.
And
it's on top of you almost.
and the crowd and the noise. I mean, there's nothing that can prepare you for that.
And there's nothing since too. There's nothing that prepares you for it. There's nothing like it. And I've achieved some I think cool things business wise and other stuff outside of business in my personal life too, even. But as far as that feeling, there is no feeling like it. You just never. It's something you have to come to terms with as an athlete. Once that day comes, is you're never going to be able to get that feeling again. You'll find it in other ways, in a way, and you'll try and find a substitute. But that's a very special feeling. Like if you've been through, there's a fraternity of brothers out there done it, but if you know, you know.
For sure, yeah, and that's something that I feel like maybe that's the same with the military. A lot of guys get out and they chase that, and then they spend a lifetime chasing it and get you in trouble and lead you down some dark areas because it's hard, especially you go from such a high in those situations, and it's like your senior game, you're the last game. It's like.
I remember that we played. It's my senior year. It would have been 2016. We played against Baylor in the Cactus Bowl down in Arizona. So we played at Chase. I think it's Chase Field is where the Diamondbacks play. So they transformed the field into a football field for that bowl game. And I remember there was a couple moments where it kind of hit me. I think before I'd left, because I knew that was my first time packing my bags and ready to go down there for the week. It kind of hit me, but it didn't actually hit me until after the game. It literally didn't hit me until that final whistle. I remember just breaking down, just going back to the locker room and just breaking down. It wasn't because we'd lost. We lost like 3 touchdowns. It wasn't because we lost. It's because that was the end of my life as I knew it. And it wasn't the end of my life like forever, but it was the end of my identity of everything I'd worked towards the last, really my whole life, my whole sporting career to get to that point. I knew that I didn't want to play football past that point, which is kind of a weird dichotomy because you love it, but you don't want to make it your career. Yeah. I knew that was going to be the last game. And I remember I was just like, it hit me hard. But then also pretty quickly you realize you're free, so to speak. And I had the last 5+ years, I had someone telling me what to do, where and when, what to wear and when to shop. So there's a level of, liberty that you find at the end, but also a level of sadness because everything that your identity was for that period of time is just stripped from you in an instant. So.
Well, and it's not like you're just closing a chapter and fading it out and starting a new one. I mean, it's gone. Yeah. They blow the whistles. That chapter's done. You go back to school the next day or, when you get back.
I went to work, dude. I went to I had a week off. So I'd already graduated a few weeks before, played in that game, and then got home, had my wisdom teeth taken out. Because I delayed it, I actually got them infected during the season, but I didn't want to have the surgery because it would have taken me out for a week or two. Had my wisdom teeth out, took a week off, and then I went straight to work, man. I knew that if I allowed myself to kind of have that downtime, and a lot of guys do it, that wouldn't have been good for me. I had to go straight to purpose. I had to go straight to work and find a new identity.
Which was what? How did you?
So I actually, they were stupid enough to give me a job. The local dealership, shout out to Lyle Pearson. They sell Mercedes, Porsche, Ineos, Volvo, Acura, Land Rover, and Jaguar. I got a job at the local dealership.
Really?
So yeah, I actually had it lined up before I graduated. So I sold Porsche and Mercedes for their brands for 2 years out of college, and I went straight to work because I knew that I needed to get something rolling. I got the job in part because I love cars. The cars are my passion outside of work and football or whatever it was. So yeah, I went straight to work, and I got into sales right away. I knew that was my thing. So,
do you see a lot of guys get in trouble in that period, like in their finding themselves stage? Yeah.
Unfortunately, you do. Some guys, we had guys even during football. We had one guy in particular who had actually gone out of the hood, was kind of had been gang affiliated or involved. I think before, went back during football. He just quit. He quit and went back to the hood, and he's alive or was alive and got shot. He's been arrested several times since. Seen plenty of guys get arrested in between. Unfortunately, I did lose one teammate after football. I think he really struggled in between, and he had some mental health stuff going on, and that was, I think, part of his struggle trying to find his identity. And he died. Got in an incident with some police and died at like 22, 23 years old, I think. Damn. At the time. So yeah, a lot of guys, they struggle because it's their entire identity, and they just don't know how to assimilate. Like, I know it sounds crazy. I would never want to compare it to the military because what you guys have done is, it's life and death, but identity is similar.
I get what you're saying. It's apples and oranges, military. But I mean, you have to take the human mind, though. That should been your world. And the same thing with the military. It's your world. Yeah. You're woken up, marched to chow, told when to eat, told to shave, shit, everything. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, one day you're out and you're gone.
It's taken from you.
And that's,
it's tough. And I think the thing is, you have those shared experiences when you play football.
Trauma bonded.
It's trauma bonded. It's that locker room stuff. Like, you can't, the things you talk about in the locker room, you can't talk about in the workplace because you get fired. Like, I know it sounds crazy. I'm not promoting necessarily what is spoken about there, but
that's just nature.
But it's just that's that camaraderie you have, and if you can't find that again, or at least find a more socially acceptable version of that, it's tough. And if you've been through it, you know what I'm talking about. And a lot of guys, they struggle to assimilate to what is expected from them for people that don't understand where they came from. You know,
I'm surprised schools haven't started to. I mean, maybe they do, is implementing, especially for athletes. I get a normal college kid you're going and they're usually setting themselves up beforehand. But I feel a lot of these athletes, they're not really thinking too much of that, because their next level is hopefully pro.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, I mean, I'm sure there's so many guys that are just left.
Yeah, they never kind of reach their full potential outside of football because they don't necessarily know what their other passions are, because that's what they focus on. Yeah. And I know it's even different now with the whole NIL stuff where guys are getting paid. I would actually hazard that it's probably going to get even worse for some guys, because if you're not one of those top guys where you're making some money, you're going to get kicked around a lot, because coaching staff, especially at the Division 1, those top tier, top 25, they need people that can produce. So I think you probably lose your identity even more there. So yeah, I hope that every school has a different way of dealing with it, and I hope that they continue to make that kind of a thing, because at the end of the day, you're dealing with human beings. Yes, it's a job, especially now. It really is a job. I mean, when I played, yes, I wasn't being paid, but it was a job. It was a full-time job. You have to I think they need to have things in place to help guys kind of assimilate, because there's some brilliant human beings that have other skill sets that played football and played sports that never get to contribute the same way they could, because they're never empowered to understand that you're bigger than just that. Yeah. You know, you have other skill sets. So there's a lot of people, I think, that never actually get to reach their full potential because they think football was the be all and end all. It's not.
Well, that's what your program from Pop Warner. I mean, especially if you're here in the States.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing, you're gassed up. So I played rugby obviously from the age of 4, so that was my Pop Warner essentially. Yeah. So I've seen it on in the UK, and I've also heard it from my own teammates that played Pop Warner here. You get these guys these kids that are superstars as kids, and they get gassed up their whole lives how great they are. Yeah, you're going to be the next so and so. You're going to be the next Peyton Manning. You're going to be the next Von Miller, the next Aaron Donald, whatever it is, and that messes with your psyche, because you put your worth behind what you're told you're going to be and what the outcome could be. And at the end of the day, we know, especially as adults, you go through these ups and downs in life, and life isn't this. Like, especially as an athlete, life isn't that. It doesn't mean you're always going to reach that potential everyone told you. So when it hits you in the mouth and it doesn't quite go the way it's going to go, it can be tough to make that realization. For
sure. Which is crazy. You think how much technology and how much science that they're putting into studying these kids on all the different levels. You think that would be something that's like, hey, we need to start building for their endpoint, But it's the same with the military. It's like, dude, you do 8, 12, 20 years, and then you're like, hey, I want to get out. And they're like, hey, take this 1 week class, and this will teach you how to be a functioning human being in society. And then you're like,
yeah, that's not. It's a sad thing. One of the things we spoken about earlier about culture difference, and the UK hasn't got it figured out at all, not even slightly. Every country has its own issues. But the one thing I've learned in America, sadly, and I try to be the opposite of this whenever I can, is that most people, and this goes for the government, I think, to an extent too, especially with the military stuff, same with athletics, it's kind of almost a magnified version of it with that. But most people don't care about you. They just care about what you can do for them. And that's one of the, once you can figure out how to kind of get around that, it's different. But that's with the military, with football, it's very similar. It's like these programs only really care about us when they can get stuff, typically speaking. Now, that's not the case with everything. I had some really good coaches that did care about me, and some academic advisors that cared, and all kinds of stuff. When you look at it fundamentally, your lifetime is short as far as your usability to different organizations and programs. And I wish there were more programs in place, especially for vets too, to be able to help them, because that's a different. I can't. There is crossover between football and the military, but the vets, especially combat vets, is a different story.
It's sad, and it's like, why aren't we putting more effort into that stuff? Veterans, athletes, whatever. I mean, people that are transitioning, that have worked for somebody for so long, and then all of a sudden, I mean, you just don't know what to do with your life. So, what do you think of these kids now that are getting just paid so much money to play. How do you think that's going to change the game?
I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them because there's a lot of guys like me and others that crawled in our own way so they could run. So I'm happy for them. There's a lot of old heads that are like, oh, they shouldn't get this. And just because I didn't get it or someone else didn't get it doesn't mean they shouldn't get it to start with. I'm a proponent of it. The thing I think is tough, though, it's scientifically proven. From the age of 18 to 21, 22, 23, you're not fully mentally developed yet, which means your decision-making processes aren't always the best. If you gave me even $100,000, I mean, that's a lot of money, but even if you gave me $100,000, some of you guys making millions.
Trouble.
If I had $100K, I would be doing stupid.
20-year-old kid.
Yeah, you can't make sound decisions. So what I'd love to see, I mean, I might get hate for this, is I wish it would kind of go into like some kind of trust fund. So they do get some money, monthly, but it goes into some kind of trust fund that you don't get until you graduate. So that way you got something to work towards, and you're not doing crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's hard to tell another man what to do with his money. I think it's good in its progress, but the system itself and right now, from an administration perspective and a rules perspective, is kind of the Wild West at the moment. So I think they need to get some more regulation in the NCAA to make this a little bit more sustainable, because we're seeing some weird stuff happen right now. So.
It's very interesting to me. I mean, you take the statistic of how many pros are broke within the first 5 years or 3 years of getting out of whatever sports program that they're in. I mean, these are professional, grown men, women, athletes.
With families sometimes.
With families and businesses that are losing everything because they're used to that contract, the bonuses, and all that stuff. But now you're giving it to some 18, 19-year-old kid that's walking around on the field flashing
with a watch,
flashing a $500,000 watch. Yeah. It's like, granted, I mean, not just throwing a jab at Sanders and kid and all that. I mean, he's built an incredible program, but these kids, I mean, especially you get some kids that come from, a lot of athletes come from poverty. This is their way out.
Yeah. It doesn't. I met kids from all different. I played football with all different backgrounds: white, black, Hispanic, whatever.
Just in general,
that come from they either, a lot of guys. I was really fortunate. I had a good home life. Like things weren't always easy, as far as maybe money went, but I had a good, solid home life. I had some teammates that came from some backgrounds that were tough. They maybe didn't have all that. Some of them we had a couple of guys that were orphans. We had guys that had one parent around, maybe not the other, that had seen things that no kid should probably see. I couldn't imagine giving them money and then them maybe acting out their traumas on that money. Like, that's not a great recipe. So
it's interesting to see where it goes and it evolves. And I don't know, man. I always love college so much more than any professional sports, is because they're still building that resume. But now it's like these kids are getting signed for millions, and it's like, I don't know if they're gonna play not as hard or have to, or if that puts any more pressure on them because now they're getting paid and they have to feel like they got to perform even more. I don't know what that's going to do to these college athletes, but I don't know. That's why I always love college football over any professional team, just because of how hard these dudes are trying.
I barely watch the NFL myself. Like, I consider myself a football fan, of course. I barely watch the NFL until it gets to either like a marquee game or a high stakes or playoffs. Like, because you can, in the NFL, you can be like barely 500 get to the playoffs nowadays. At college, still, to an extent, a little bit different with the college football playoffs maybe this year. Every game for the most part counts, and it's just a different level of, I much prefer college to NFL.
What the fuck has happened to the NFL? So I used to be hardcore. Then once the whole kneeling shit and politics got brought in sports, that's when I was checked out, because I want to watch to watch. God, I try to watch with my kids every now and then, and there's so many new rules. They've softened it.
They've changed the kickoffs now. So like kickoffs, like
there's no running back.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough, because at the time when you play football, you don't really care about your own health and safety. You don't care, because you're like, this is I'm going to go out there and sacrifice my body, glorify my soul, and do what I need to do. But looking back now, I sound like an old head. It kind of makes sense, because I watch football. I'm like, there's no way in hell. How did I used to do this? This is crazy. But it's changed entirely, and it's not. I think a lot of the progress is good, but there's also some stuff that isn't good. And the whole targeting, the defensive player stuff, I know what their intention is with it, but unfortunately, it's so disadvantageous to the defensive players now. It's really hard. Like, I'm seeing guys get ejected, and they never had a chance. They're committing to a tackle, and then all of a sudden, they're already committed to tackle. The trajectory is at a certain point. A QB lowers his head, and then they hit them with targeting. It's like, well, what are you supposed to do? So I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to safeten the game for the players, and I think it's good overall. But that rule is tough, when it comes to that.
There's more players getting hurt now.
I think guys are getting bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah,
guys are getting bigger, faster, stronger. It's not. I don't think human beings were ever meant to be this big and this fast hitting each other.
No,
to be honest with you,
no. And then at the same time, you watch it, you're hearing about these head injuries and all the TBIs and all stuff. I swear to God, I don't see one highlight reel, video, anything without a mouse guard hanging out of their helmet.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they have the best technology and helmets and the pads and the sensors, and they're reading everything now. But then these dudes are running down the field without a mouth guard in it. I'm like, back in when
you put it in. Some guys wear two mouthpieces now. They have like fashion accessories. Some guys have two different colors. They have like a black one and a white one. But so obviously, my background's rugby. I played rugby growing up. All you had in rugby was a mouth guard. So you had to wear it because that's all you had. You didn't have any padding.
Yeah.
And that actually absorbs a lot of impact from like TBI. So when guys run around without mouth guards, I'm like, you can have the helmet, but like that jaw moving up and down, that's what gets you a lot of the time.
Yeah, even hitting the ground. I mean, you're just rattling your teeth together.
I always wore a mouth guard.
It's fascinating.
It was just burned in my brain from rugby.
Same.
If I didn't wear a mouth guard, I felt, no.
There was times I'd run out and be like, and you'd catch it, like, and then you're like going over to try to find it. It's like that missing piece, like you go to panic, like, where's my wallet when you're gone? It's ingrained in you that I see these guys run down the field, and I'm like,
it's always a little skinny guy. It's always skinny DBs and receivers. Like, they don't really do anything anyway.
Exactly.
D-line, O-line, tight ends, like, fullbacks. You're pounding the linebackers a little bit more.
When you're in the trenches, you're wearing them.
In the trenches, you're wearing these skinny guys. They run around with all their accessories.
Every 5-6 plays, they might be involved in it, and they put it back in there.
I look at like how tough my job was, because I see DBs sometimes, and even linebackers sometimes. They kind of run it a little bit, and they never actually hit anyone. On every other play, D-line, every play, boom, just hitting your head against.
You were defensive end. What'd you play?
So I played defensive tackle and D-end, depending on the formation. So we used to play a 4-3 and a 3-4. So I'd play anywhere from a 3 technique all the way out to like a 5 or sometimes 7. So you have to be pretty versatile, actually. Yeah.
Damn, that's pretty interesting by itself. I mean, to be a versatile player like that.
Yeah,
you got
be fast
especially
enough.
D-end. You got to be fast enough to try to
rush.
Pass rush or contain anything back inside. And then obviously the size-wise, if you're lining up.
I mean, at 6'5", I was at the edge of the height you can really be to play inside. I mean, if you're 6'5", 6'6", and you're 320, not as big of a deal. But I really played in the 285 to 290-ish range most of the time, which is still big. But at 6'5", I got long legs and long arms. You got to stay low, otherwise they get underneath you. So.
Such a fascinating sport when you break it down and the science behind it and everything. So transitioning out, I guess, I almost said the military, and transitioning out of football, how was that? Was that a weird stage?
Oh, yeah, that was
trying
tough.
To figure life out now?
It got harder before it got easier, honestly. I got that job at Lyle Pearson. Loved cars. I was good with people. I've always been pretty good at like making friends and just getting people to know, like, and trust me. So I felt good going into it. But that January that I started was that Snowmageddon year in 2016.
Yep.
And anyone that remembers that lived in Idaho, the whole state was damn near shut down. Like, the snow was that bad. So I'm sat at this dealership at 23 years old.
I'm selling
and no one was coming on the lot. The cars were literally buried. Yep. I'm just doing was training to figure out what the cars are. And I was sat here, and I get like a little like a guarantee, basically. I think it was like $1,500 a month was like the guarantee you get paid in case you didn't sell anything. And I didn't sell anything the first month. And I remember like driving home one night, and I was like, what have I done, man? I should have like gone back and played rugby, or at least tried to continue playing football. Like, I'm stuck at a dealership. I'm a salesman and I don't sell anything. That was a tough first couple months there. It really was a reality check. I was like, hang on a second. Then things started to pick up in March, and by that first year, I was one of the top salespeople at the dealership. Yeah, within that first year, so it turned around. Good, but it was a little bit dark for those couple of months leading up to that.
You never had any thoughts on going back? You love the U.S.
I didn't. I had opportunities to go back, but there's more opportunity in this country. I felt like there was more for me, and I had, to an extent, a little bit more of a presence in the community, and I just felt there was more opportunities here. Yeah,
I mean, especially coming from, as an athlete for, I would say, a generally good program.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a lot of alumni here in the Valley that want to support the athletes.
I was never like a superstar. I was a good football player. I was never a superstar. I never had the name that Ashton Genty has, for example, but the name of the Boise State Broncos and being a part of that was enough to open up a few doors for me where people were like, okay, out of the goodness of that charity, hey, here's a chance. They gave me Lyle Pearson, Travis, the GM. He gave me a chance. He was like, hey, I like you. We'll give you a chance. So that's how I ended up there. And it helped. I never led with the Boise State thing, but naturally, you're dealing with a lot higher end clients. Mercedes and Porsche, I mean, that's two expensive brands. We dealt with a lot higher end clients that happen to end up being Boise State boosters. I mean, and they're not stupid. So Idaho, especially, I mean, anywhere in Idaho really, is a pretty, white regular place. So when you see a large black person, there's questions. All right, so what? Like,
where are you from?
Where are you from? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And that would always lead up to me being able to say, I got here because I played football at Boise State. And the minute I remember, people approach car salesmen, even with brands like that, they approach them a little bit kind of hands off because you don't want to get sold.
You did the whole
the sleazy sales. Yeah, exactly.
I hate it. Everybody.
So
does.
people always like kind of standoffish. Then I'd open up a little bit, then we get talking to that, and I'd say I played football at Boise State, and then immediately just the guard went down because you played at Boise State. I'm like, yeah, and then I would just end up telling them stories about stuff I did, and it was very genuine. It's like here's my story. Here's how I got here from the UK. This is what I did, and then all of a sudden people trust you. So that was definitely an advantage. I don't pretend like I was the best ever, but that. I was a good salesperson, but that definitely helped break down that barrier.
Well, as soon as you get someone's trust, I mean, you're in.
Yeah, they say if someone knows, likes, and trusts you, that is 99% of what it takes to get someone to work.
And you got the gift of gab. You can talk to people, and that's half the battle for most people.
Oh, it is.
Being able to just have a conversation.
I sound like an old head again, but especially at the generation below me. Like I got some really good employees that are in that generation below, and they do a great job. But they're the exception to the rule.
I bet you've gone through a lot.
Just verbal communication. When I talk to younger people, like it's very different. It's a skill coming through now. If you know how to hold a good conversation, as crazy as it sounds,
isn't it sad?
It is. Yeah, it's just.
Isn't that sad that like we're even having this conversation that hey, if a kid in this new generation can carry a conversation, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah. I think there's two sides of it. Like I guess maybe in their defense, if I'm looking at kind of devil's advocate, they have like certain skills that we don't have maybe when it comes to technology. So maybe there's a crossover there. But yeah, it's just I guess
basic life skills.
Yeah, every generation I think we go through different changes, and I think getting older now we're seeing that generational change maybe. So yeah, if you're a young person and you can communicate and hold a good conversation, you are at this point in time you're ahead of your peers.
And we deal with our kids. I mean, I tell my daughters all the time, like if you guys the path we're on, path you guys are learning, I'm like you're already night and day ahead of anybody you're your age or above within several years, because just the basic life skills of being able to look somebody in their eye, shake their hand, have a conversation where you're not staring and looking all over
on the phone. Yeah.
And that's a lot, that has everything to do with it. I mean, we were just out at dinner the other night and we look over and there's a young couple. I want to say they're, early college kids, 1920s. Both of them had a full dinner and never even acknowledged each other. It was so bad. The guy's holding his phone and his chick propped her phone against his. And she's just like watching a movie and they're at a restaurant. And even when they're eating, they're and that's a skill to be able to. And that's the dating pool now. Yeah. And it's just, it's insane. And then you start dealing with these guys and they all want to complain that they can't get a job or anything. And it's basic life skills. It's not hard. And then they want to sit here and judge, well, you're a boomer or you're this or that.
Yeah, everything's a boomer now. I'm a millennial, man. Come on.
Right. But it's fascinating. It's fascinating, especially when you have employees and you try to be able to talk to them at the same time. You have to learn, us being, I'm 40, you're 30s, early 30s, right? You're a young guy.
I'm 32 in a couple months.
Yeah. And so I even have to learn, okay, I can't be so direct.
You can't approach.
You have to find a completely different path to approach a situation, or you lose them.
Yeah,
and you're just like
shit sandwich. Good news, bad news, good news.
Yeah, build them up, break them down, build them back up again, and then pray to God that they don't leave.
Quit,
And it's just that's what it's come to. So, but okay, so you do the car thing for a while, which is probably pretty cool because you're obviously a car fanatic.
Yeah, it was awesome actually.
When did you get a hookup? Did you get to buy anything there?
I got my very first brand new car. We got the Porsche employee discount, so you got 20% back of MSRP, and then I got to lease it. So I had like a brand new Cayman GTS. It was like 90-something thousand. I was paying like next to nothing for a month. So I got some hookup. I bought a few cars while I was there.
She perks up. Porsches are her thing.
I've had like 5 or 6 now, I think, at this point. I got to drive some really cool cars, some very expensive cars. Met some really, really cool people as well.
And so did that open up any doors for transitioning out of there?
Yeah, so essentially my transition, so I did that whole year of 2017, half the year of 2018, and halfway through the year of 2018, it was starting to get mundane. It was starting to get a little bit boring. I was like, I'm struggling to see the end goal here. Like, all right, I almost have mastered, but I kind of mastered the art of like, okay, meet someone new.
Your ceiling.
Exactly. I've figured out the challenge as an athlete, like I need a challenge, right? I figured out, okay, it's pretty easy. You just meet someone, get them to know and like and trust you, explain the product, close them, move on. And it became a little bit repetitive. I was like, okay, well, what's my trajectory? And I met with our GM and I was like, hey, I kind of want to figure out what that is. And he said, well, if you do another 5 to maybe 10 here, we can get you to be like a sales manager. And
years?
Years. Then if you do like another 5 there, you can maybe look at like a general manager role or a brand like sales manager role. And then you can look at like being like a principal, like a more C-level, 25 years from now. And I'm like, no, fuck this, man. Like I was only 24 at the time. I'm like, I want a little more of a trajectory. I
mean, you're talking 15, 20 years before you're even in management.
Yeah. Like proper senior upper management. Yeah. I'm like, I need, I can't just do the same thing over and over again for the next 10 years.
Yep.
And feel fulfilled. And that's when I decided to get into real estate. I met a lot of really cool real estate developers, real estate agents even. I'd met obviously surgeons, doctors, attorneys because of the type of product we were selling. But the one thing they all in common is they all ran their own business or a version of it, at least contractors to an extent. So in July of 2018, got my real estate license.
How was that?
That was... it was pretty easy to get my license. Actually. Yeah. It's actually scary how easy it is. That's a whole other story. But yeah, I went.
It's scary that people trust.
Oh yeah, just anyone. Yeah,
not just anyone, but like a majority of people are trusting somebody with the biggest purchase of their life, and it's scary.
Yeah, it's nuts. It
is fucking scary.
We'll go over some stories, man.
I can't wait.
I've met some idiots, sadly.
I can't wait. I love real estate stories just because I have to hear everything from the wife because, with her.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
The real estate market or real estate industry is a fascinating place.
It's very, it can be all of something and all of nothing. It's kind of what you want it to be and what you get involved in.
You definitely make it to your own.
Oh yeah,
whatever
or you fail. Most people fail. At least on the agency side, the selling side, most people fail. So so I got my license in July 2018. Quit cold turkey at the dealership. I was like, I'm done. I'm out. Got my license, and I was like, all right, well, I got my license now. I got a decent network of people. People know me.
Yeah,
I'm surely we're making $1 million a month, right? I'm going to be just closing deals left, right, and center. Not the case.
No,
I went 9 months without selling a single thing. 9 months.
Really? That's tough.
I didn't have much saved up. I did really well my first year out, my first 2 years of dealership. I didn't have much saved up, and I ran out of savings quick. It was like 3 or 4 months. I was like, oh, shit.
So what were you doing to make up for anything?
So I drove Uber.
Really?
Uber. Yeah, I drove Uber. I took out like a $13,000 loan through Goldman Sachs, a personal loan, just to kind of pay bills here and there.
Really?
Went to debt, and I drove Uber. So I would do real estate in the day, kind of, like typical 9 to 5-ish. And then I would do Uber late at night, sometimes early in the morning on the airport runs, just to get the money together to be able to just keep paying the bills. So I went from a 6-figure job right out of college, took a risk, and went to
nothing.
No, it was bad, man. Yeah, it was a very dark time. Just trying to.
Are you married at this point?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, my wife's in law school, and no one's making any money. So
how was that? I mean, that's pretty tough. Stressful times.
Yeah, it was stressful for sure, man. It was stressful for sure. $17 to in my bank account in October of 2018, driving Uber, trying to make ends meet. And I remember the darkest day was a dude threw up in my car in my Uber. I picked him up from downtown. He seemed okay, and he just throws up all over my car on the seatbelt. I kick him out. I go home. I had to clean it all up. I remember going to bed, dude, and just crying. I was just broke. I'm a grown ass man at this point, but I'm like, I've kind of looked similar to the dealership thing, that phase I went through. I remember I'm just like, shit, I fucked this up, man. I had a really good job, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And another month or so goes by. I managed to just scrape by somehow, and I'm a week away from quitting. I'm like, I either need to go back to the dealership or find something else because this ain't working out. And I was literally a week. I said, okay, if I don't get something figured out by next Monday, I'm meeting with the owner of the brokerage at the time and the designated brokerage saying, hey, I really appreciate you guys supporting me, but I'm going to have to go back to doing whatever. And that next day after I made that decision, I'm not kidding, that next day after I made that decision, I got a phone call from someone who, believe it or not, it was the very first guest from my very first open house. In that July, I got licensed. They called me up and said, hey, and funny enough, he was a military guy too, the husband. He was on his way back from a tour, and the wife called me and said, hey, look, he's coming back. We remembered you from the open house. I sent him a handwritten card and a Starbucks gift card saying, hey, I'd love to help you when the time is right. And they said, hey, can you show us this house? And we put one offer in, didn't get accepted. I'm like, crap, we need to figure this out because I need to get a check soon. Anyway, put an offer in another one, got it, listed their house, managed to get closed by March. I managed to get through and
so you had a buyer seller,
yeah, right away, which is nice.
Okay, yeah.
Got another one in March as well. I'm like, okay, well, this is doable. All that money basically disappeared because I had to pay off the loan and pay the next bills.
Yep.
And then it just took off that year, though. I mean, that was 2019. That was before the real estate market really boomed. Yep. I sold 27 homes in that 9 months, actually. So from March
Good for you.
to December, I sold 27 homes for almost 10 mil. And I was like,
how? Networking?
I have a course actually that I'm teaching other agents now actually on how I kind of went through that process. But yeah, I do real estate coaching as well with other agents.
Got it. Okay.
But it was just through networking. It was through four things I actually did. I would make a habit of adding contacts of people to my CRM. I would send them handwritten cards. I would have phone calls with them on a regular basis, and I meet them for coffee. I used to try and do that rotation with all these people until someone eventually was like, "Hey, I need to buy and sell. Hey, I got a cousin or whatever." So I had a kind of a system.
Because if you're not
top of mind, they move to the next person.
Yeah,
I mean that's the way real estate typically is. Until you get to the point where, unfortunately, I've gotten to in my career now, where you're sought out for different reasons. Mm-hmm. When you're just a kind of a regular agent, so to speak, if you're not top of mind, people will go to the next person that's top of mind. It's kind of crazy that it's the way it is, but it is. But I managed to stay top of mind, managed to bring value. I sold 27 homes that first year. I got to the end of that year and I was like, how the hell am I going to do this again? Like that was kind of felt like a fluke. Mm-hmm. And I actually sat down and I looked at all the different activities I did that led to those opportunities. And I doubled down on those and I ended up selling 57 homes the next year. So really? I over doubled. I was like 111%. Actually, I literally just went over the numbers yesterday for this thing I was doing for some students. And yeah, so I over doubled those numbers that next year. Almost doubled again that year after. I started my own team, essentially, a real estate team within the brokerage I was at. And then the year after that, I just started my own brokerage entirely. So I left the brokerage I was at, started my own brokerage. And the only reason I redid it was to have the autonomy I wanted and needed. Mm-hmm. I became an actual broker with a broker's license. And then our team grew and I hired a COO and I was like, I needed to actually become a real business. We grew again. We like doubled in size to the point where we're at now. Where I have a COO that deals with like all the day to day and our staff. I have a designated broker that just took over my role as broker. I have a chief marketing officer. I have my agents. I have a marketing team. Like it's crazy. It's been a crazy experience for sure.
Good for you, man. That's a lot of growth really fast.
Yeah, it was really, if you look at it, so I got my license in 2018. I didn't sell till 2019. If you look at it from me becoming a team, which was 2021, that was when I actually started to get employees. My first employees really were 2021, like real full-time employees in that way. It's only been 4 years, really, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Dude, good for you.
Yeah, it's been wild.
That's a roller coaster ride.
It's
right there.
Yeah. There's been other highs and lows since then, and it's a lot of responsibility. I wouldn't change it, but it doesn't. Certain aspects have gotten easier. Mm-hmm. Certain aspects have gotten harder, but overall the trajectory's been great. So
it's a weird market right now too. There's a lot of just. I mean, you hear all the hearsay, and the market's going to crash. The market's going to explode again. Interest rates are going to go even higher. I mean, it's scary for buyers right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
the biggest thing right now, more than anything, the inventory's. I mean, at this moment in time, inventory is still quite low. Mm-hmm. Prices are very stable. Actually, they dipped from 22 to 23 in our market in Idaho. Very stable at the moment. Interest rates are the thing that's kind of that cork. The higher interest rates are actually, to an extent, holding things together because people aren't as willing to sell and give away their interest rate, and because of that, there's not much inventory in the market. Therefore, prices can't adjust because prices only really change when something sells to get that new comparable. So we're kind of at this like, I almost felt that we're behind the dam right now, waiting for it to break loose because there's only so long. From a residential perspective, people can live in their houses that don't work for them anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an uptick in the next year here, regardless of interest rates. Just because people don't want to be in situations that don't work from day to day from a residential perspective. So.
What do you mean?
Well, put it this way: there's 5 reasons that people, typically speaking, buy and sell real estate. Okay, so it's family retraction normally. So downsizing, upsizing because of kids. There's marital. So getting divorced happens, death or aging. So people either die because they die or age means they can't look after their property anymore. The other one is, like promotion, occupational. If you work and you get more money, you got more means to buy, you might need to relocate. And then the other one, the fifth one, is lifestyle change. People are always going to, all those 5 things are always going to be happening in people's lives.
What's the average move date? 3 years?
5 is the average.
Okay.
When I looked at the data last time, it's 5 on average. Idaho's market is actually historically in the last 10 years been less because of the appreciation. It's allowed people to make more money. But those 5 things are happening in our lives all the time.
Yeah.
So as long as those continue to be a thing, people are going to need to buy and sell regardless of the market. Interest rates, yeah, they do help. They do. If people are moving electively, then yeah, that's going to be a kind of a damper. But people are going to keep dying. They're going to keep getting divorced. They're going to keep getting promotions. They're going to keep getting older. All these different things that play into this, they're not going to change. So real estate is always going to be, if you look at real estate from any 10-year period, it's never down. If you look at it from year 1 to year 10, it's always up. It might do this in the middle, but if you look at the point, it's
slowly climbing every time.
Yeah. There's no period in history when you look at it where it's going to be a significant dip below that.
It's a crazy market.
Yeah.
It's a crazy industry.
Oh, it's the industry's insane. And the most insane thing to me, and I'm supposed to be ethical or be as ethical as I can. There are a lot of stupid real estate agents, and it's crazy how many people are out there that really shouldn't be doing their job because they're either not ethical or they don't have the basic skill set to protect people's best interests. It's actually sad.
It's not only sad, it is scary. Mm-hmm. My wife says it all the time. She's like, not all agents are not created equal. No. That's the reason we even got into real estate. Mm-hmm. This is a crazy story. I'll just give you Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
Got a job offer. We're moving here. We find this home up north by Crouch. Put an offer on this log cabin. Beautiful. My dream home. It was built by a hunter. Dream home. Man cave. He had his own loading room. Walk-in safe. It was, when I say my fucking dream house, it was my dream house. We put the offer in. Offer gets accepted. We pack our house. We move here. We left everything. 2 little U-Haul trailers, 1 behind each truck, and off we come to Idaho. On the way here, oh, hey, our agent calls us. Hey, by the way, dealer pulled the whole entire contract. They don't want to deal with a VA loan. And we're like, what? We don't know any different. We're young.
You can't even really do, if it's signed, you can't even do that, I don't think. It depends.
No, well, you can't not. Unless the VA, it doesn't pass inspection, then that's their...
Yeah, if there's an appraisal issue.
Exactly. No, didn't even get to that. So they pull our contract. We don't know. So now we end up homeless. When we moved here, we were homeless for like 3 months. I had 2 pit bulls, even though there's one was a service dog. Nobody's going to rent. Anyways, we end up finding out everything that went down, how illegal it was. And my wife's like, it'll never happen to us again. She's like, I will never trust anybody again with this large of a purchase ever. And she became an agent that
was our origin story.
That's it. And that we ended up buying this house. Yeah. Like she bought it off market, saved us a ton. I mean, it was perfect timing and everything, but listening to her deal and talk with other agents, it's scary.
Oh, it
is. It's the ethical part to me. I've heard stories when you heard dealing with a guy and how these agents won't material. What's
adverse material?
Adverse material facts. Yeah. When we moved in California, literally we're under contract, and we had this huge windstorm come through, and it shifted one of our tiles on our roof. And I wake up in the middle of the night to water dripping in our room, and I sit up like the fucking ceiling's leaking, and there's water coming out of the vent. We call our agent. We're literally like 2 weeks away from moving. Yeah. He's like, hey, patch it up, clean it up, don't say anything. We're like, okay, we don't know.
Oh, that's how you get sued if like...
We have no idea. We patched it up. I'm up with spray paint, covered it up.
Like Flex Seal? Is that stuff off the commercial?
Patch this thing up. And he was like, don't say anything. You're good. And when she becomes in, she's like, you have no idea how much shit we could be in if that ever came back out. And just things like that, these agents are finding, and they just, flooded crawl space to get it pumped out. You're good. There's no mold. Don't worry about it. We don't need to get the vapor barrier redone. It's shit like that. It's scary. I'm sure you got crazy ass stories.
I have so many that sometimes it's hard. Like I have to kind of like
go through the roll
out to my eyes have to go black, and I have to start thinking. It's just the biggest thing. The biggest concern that I have when I deal with like other agents, typically speaking, is when I have to basically do their job for them, and they don't know how to communicate certain stuff. We have to explain to them how paperwork works. Like most agents don't know the paperwork. I have to be careful what names I use and stuff when I kind of say this stuff, but some places, like some brokerages, don't really teach their agents the nuances of paperwork, and they don't necessarily teach them to understand that if you don't tick one particular box, it can change the implication of an entire contract. Like literally, like someone's earnest money they put on the table, which can be tens of thousands of dollars, can all be lost because you didn't take the time to learn to read the contract. And there's been situations where I've had verbal conversations with agents, and even though I'm obviously advocating for my seller or my buyer in that situation, there's certain stuff I kind of go through with them to make sure they fully understand what it is we're presenting, because when their seller or buyer signs it, that's a legally binding contract. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the craziest thing. Most of the crazy things I've seen actually tend to be more with buyers and sellers than with other agents. Because,
oh, really? How so?
Yeah, because there's just weird and funny stories. There was one of these just sticks up in my mind. It's kind of funny. I called this agent up one time to go and show a home. This is years ago in like a rural area. It's kind of like in the Middleton area, and he said, yeah, you can go and check out the home whenever you want. I'm actually getting a divorce. I don't live in the house anymore. It's my wife is there and the kids still live there. I don't know if the house is ready or not, but you can go through whenever you want. I'm a little bit cautious with this anyway. Yeah. Just kind of like, that's a tough dynamic. So I get there early and I go and turn the lights on. It's a bigger home to get the showing ready for the client. I go into the bedroom and the nightstand's open and there's stuff just hanging out everywhere. And you know what I mean when I say stuff. There was some good old toys just hanging around, and I was like, how am I going to deal with this? So I have to go and get some, like, I think I got some toilet paper or some kitchen, like, roll stuff, and like put it all in, shut the drawer, move away, and so my clients get there, and they don't think anything of it. We walk around, nothing to worry about. They don't know anything. They're no worse for the wise. They're good. And I got in the car and I leave. And I'm like, shit, I feel bad for the wife because she's going to come back probably knowing that stuff was out. And someone had to put it away. So yeah, that's that. I've seen dead animals and floorboards before. So I've been. This was my first year. I remember going out with an agent I was shadowing to look at a flip. He had a client who was interested in a flip. And this is way out in the boonies in Caldwell, and the house was run down. I remember walking kind of past this floorboard plank, and it was kind of like half broken. I was like, "What the hell?" Almost tripped. I look. There's this dead cat just hanging out in the middle of the floor. It was like a hoarder house kind of situation.
Oh God! Have you dealt with any hoarder houses?
Yeah, I've seen a few. Not as bad as some of the extreme ones you see in like the hoarder like shows.
That stuff fascinates me.
But I've been to houses that have been cleaned out since then or had the clutter removed, and the smell is horrific. Like the smell of like dead things and like cat pee.
You can never get
drug
that
dens.
out.
I've been to all kinds of off-market stuff, needles everywhere, and yeah, that smell. Like I can assure you, as someone who's seen flips, like make sure you do your research and figure out what the house was before. I've seen a house where someone took their life in the house, just crazy stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and that's all the stuff you don't see as the general public if you're not kind of involved in the preparation of getting a house ready for the market. Or, in Idaho, for example, it depends on the circumstance. But 99% of the time, you don't have to declare if someone dies in a house.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
My buddy bought a house and he didn't know till like a year later. He had his home gym and he's benching and he's looking at the ceiling in his garage and he's like, "The fuck is that?" And he's like looking at it and it's like, it looked familiar, but it was kind of strange. And, his neighbor, he's talking to his neighbor down the road, like time passed. And he's like, "Yeah, man, crazy story about how that kid killed himself in the garage. Shotgun blast. And it was still
in the drywall,
all in the drywall in the ceiling of it. And it's still there. He left it. It's still to this day. It's still there. Somebody's benching. He just sees his. I mean, I don't mean to be laughing about it, but yeah, nobody told him, and he ended up buying it. And that's it was. You
don't have to say anything. Yeah, if it's a meth den or whatever, then you do, but not if it's not if someone offed themselves in it.
Have you dealt with any crazy divorces? I feel like they're the worst.
I haven't dealt with. I've had buyers that have bought listings that were crazy divorces. I've never actually had to do like a crazy divorce. Like it's been amicable on the listing. However, I have had dynamics where they probably are close to getting divorced. That's part of the reason they're leaving.
Yeah.
And navigating that is so hard because you've got two people that do not see eye to eye on certain stuff.
And you have to be the mediator.
Yeah, you're like a counselor. You're like a counselor. I won't use any names, but yeah, I've had situations where a client has called me and basically asked me to lie about certain things that they are doing so that their wife doesn't find out. And that's a dilemma. That is a dilemma.
Well, so how do you is it like, is it a homie thing, or is this just a client where...
So I treat it very much like a business. I do have friends and family that I've worked with, of course, but most of the people I work with, they're not really friends and family. They've sought us out, and then my team out, myself out for business reasons. They're like, okay, well, this is the best team, the best person to get the job done. So it's a little bit different, typically speaking. I had this one client, and they basically said, hey, so I don't deal with the financing side as far as loans. I'm not doing the loans. So what I know about the loans is limited to what the loan officer is willing to talk about, of course. And I had this one client a few years back, and he's like, hey, don't let the wife know about my extra credit card. I'm like, what the hell? And he opened up a little bit, and I think he, liked to have fun,
party a little bit
with other people in other places. And it never came up during the transaction because it wasn't, adverse to the transaction itself. It wasn't adverse to the loan. And I was just thinking, damn, like, it's not my I can't say anything. It's not my place. And he didn't explicitly say necessarily what it's for, but it was implied. And I'm like, man, people really are out here doing that stuff, like really like hiding that type of stuff. And I'm like, well, I can't,
crazy.
I can't really say anything because it's not my place. So it's just, that's what it's just, it's not that the stories themselves, like, there's one nutso story. It's more just like people do some weird shit, basically.
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, though, I've heard the wife talk. There's been people that she had a guy go and buy a boat, trailer.
Oh, before they close, yeah. I had one of those, yeah.
Right before closing.
Yeah.
And the whole deal fell apart. And she was like...
Yeah. It goes a deal because it changes your debt to income ratio, which means you can't get a loan. I had one client, he's a few weeks away from closing, and it was her dream to get this home and pick up the finishes, even though it's actually new construction. And this again was a few years back, or several years back. And she sends me a picture of her new boat. Brand new boat, 2 weeks away from closing. I'm like, what? What? And it was like a $300,000 boat. Yeah. But the crazy thing was she was fine with it. She's like, I don't want to buy the house anyway. And I'm like, what the hell? So how do you buy a boat over a house? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's the problem in general with society. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, part of me as the agent was like, was it my responsibility to tell her not to do that? But when you were buying a house of that magnitude, this wasn't a cheap house back in the day. Yeah. Like, I almost feel like it's common sense. So yeah, I don't buy damn boats and other houses when you're trying to buy a house. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, people's mindset, or because they sell their home and they're like, I got all this money now.
Oh yeah.
They'll go and like get new furniture and they take a loan out for furniture, like a couch.
The one rule when you're buying a property, no matter if it's commercial, whether it's residential, whatever it happens to be, the one rule is if your credit is involved, don't buy anything until the deal's closed.
Don't even look at it.
Wreck it. Yeah.
Don't even get it your credit checked.
Don't do anything unless you're getting it's got anything to do with a loan. Just don't even bother doing it because you will kick yourself. The tiniest little things can screw you up. So yeah.
So how did you get into commercial? I mean, because you're doing some big stuff and you got some really awesome clients.
Yeah. So commercial kind of happened not by accident because obviously everything you do leads to it. Our team has two massive storage condominium facilities that we're representing, which is like special use commercial. Okay. Never really had much of a vision to get into that commercial side, and that's really the only main commercial that we've been involved in. But storage condos actually end up becoming a natural fit. We have a very, very good marketing team in house, which means that we're able to be very targeted with how we market that demographic that be interested in them. But it became a natural fit because I'm a car guy, I'm a car enthusiast, and a lot of people that utilize these storage condos are high net worth individual car enthusiasts. So it actually became a natural fit in a way. So yeah, that's been a big focus of ours this last year.
What is a storage condo?
Okay, so storage condo, the best way I can put it is like imagine your own RV garage that isn't on your property. Imagine a tricked out RV garage that is somewhere in your neighborhood or in the immediate area that you go to and you can hang out with the boys or the girls, whatever it is. You can set up a golf sim. You can park your collectible cars in there. You can make it into a workshop. That's really what it is.
Okay. Though I think the wife just moved a couple of these and we were looking, she's like, you need to go check these out.
Yeah.
I guess a guy was picking it up for his RV, but you can build them out.
Oh, yeah.
And they have like upstairs and they're all plumbed and everything.
Yeah. So different facilities have different amenities.
Mm-hmm.
The more sought after ones are the ones with plumbing because they're harder to get with water and sewer.
Yeah.
We have two projects that we represent. One that's on the Nampa Meridian border, that's like 140 storage condos.
Jeez.
And then one on State Street and Highway 16 that's 347. And these storage condos, they range in price anywhere from, around about 100,000 all the way up to like 400, 500,000. Like you can trick out one and make it really, really nice. And they're desirable because space is a premium. Like as this valley fills up, it's becoming increasingly harder to find land or to find the space to store your stuff, to store your cars, your collectibles, to have your workshop. So the next best thing is to have something off-site, which is purpose-made for what you're looking for. So they're huge in popularity now, and they're only continuing to grow. And they can be leased out and rented if you want to rent it to a buddy or someone else. They're a really solid investment.
No kidding. Those are cool. Yeah. I haven't seen one yet, but she was telling me about it and how.
After you come through and take a look at these ones, either of the projects that we have, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool. So what's separating you? I mean, you've had a ton of growth, and you have. I mean, you got Keller Williams here. You got the Lacey Bishop, or is she?
She's under Keller Williams.
Yeah, falls under it and all that stuff. But like, you've exploded in the last couple of years. What's separating you from the rest of these brokerages and everybody that's these little pop-ups that seem to be a dime a dozen? Like, what has taken you to that level where you're at now? There's
a lot of really good brokerages out there. I've got a lot of colleagues that do a really, really good job. And I've got people that I'm friends with, other agents, and done lots of deals with other brokerages, and they do a good job. And there's a different brokerage for everyone. The same way there's a different agent for everyone, whether it's commercial or residential. So just to kind of set the level there. What's different for us is we have, other than myself as an agent, a broker, the agents I have on my team, the agents we have that are independent, they've joined our brokerage independently as well because we do offer that. We have a really solid marketing team. Okay. I have a CMO who has a very heavy background in digital marketing that's helped build out our team, which means that we're able to do a lot more with marketing than most other agents, especially in our market, are able to do.
Got it.
And teams are able to do. So when you have not just the sales side, but the marketing side, it means that you're a lot more attractive, not just to home sellers that have more resources, but to developers too and builders, because we're in-house. Our marketing and our sales speak together. Most builders and developers, for example, they'll go and hire out someone through the marketing side of their stuff, and they get the collateral and they get their ads maybe, and then they go and hire an agent. With us as a one-stop shop, we speak to each other, and the reason that's important is because we have to be accountable to one another, because that's how we're getting paid between each other. We have to be accountable to those deliverables, both from sales side and from a marketing side. No one in this state, to my knowledge, is able to simultaneously in-house offer the exact same services that we are able to.
So it would take a normal client to come to you, let's say some big developer, whatever, you can market, build all the content out for it. You're pushing the content, and you're also selling, buying, doing everything all under one roof.
Yeah, we have everything. It's a one-stop shop. If a developer comes with a concept and they have the plat and they have everything ready to roll, we can say, okay, here's the time frame for the project as far as our marketing and for the sales. Here's how we're going to put stuff together. Here's who we're going to assign to this project. And most importantly, and this can't be understated, above all else, forget even the fact that we're doing the marketing, we're doing the sales, is that communication piece. We're able to deliver to them updates as far as, okay, this is what is performing marketing wise, and this is what we're seeing on the sales side, numbers wise, absorption, down to the very text messages that our team is sending out to prospective buyers and sellers, or other agents, other buyers or sellers, other agents, that are being represented, that are representing buyers. We can literally show them the conversation. So, hey, this was how many minutes we spoke on the phone for incoming phone calls this last week. And that's what developers in particular crave is, or long for, is the ability to get up-to-date communication, where it's not just a case of checking in with your agent that's on the project every other week and being like, hey, yeah, we're getting lots of phone calls. It's like, no, here are the measurables. Here's what the marketing is doing, and here are the conversations we're having. So they have feedback to be able to understand how their product is performing in the market.
So you're able to back up everything.
Yeah, it's not just, I'm not just going to sit there and say, oh yeah, things are going well, things aren't going well. Substance. Like, I'm an objective person.
For sure.
We run our business that way. Like, we need to be able to be held accountable, and the way we're held accountable is by being able to actually deliver metrics and objectives that we can stand by and say, yeah, this is performing, this isn't performing. And you've
seen a drastic increase with clients and just
we at this juncture, excluding the projects we're working on, we are meeting with a developer every other week at this point. And in almost every situation bar one, they've actually reached out to us. They've kind of heard, okay, well, we've heard you've been doing this. Can you talk to us about that? So yeah, that's really where our team, and what I do, we do residential. We still do the residential resale.
Yeah.
And we do that as well as anyone. But where we've really started to see that traction is with that development and that new construction. And the biggest thing I explain to the developers too, and it's something I've had to really drive home to them, even the more experienced ones and builders too, is a lot of the time builders and developers, they look for the agent, the team, the brokerage that can do it. And that's the operative word, do it for the cheapest. So, I got someone that's doing it for 1% or 5%, whatever that number happens to be. Commission fees are negotiable. Let's take a round number. I'm doing it for 1%. I got this team that's doing it for 1% right now. And we would love to work with you, or we can see some value there, but they only cost us 1%, so we're saving money. And what people fundamentally don't understand, and this goes for developers and even just regular people out there with real estate doesn't sell for a fixed price. It sells a range of prices, and that's based on your agent and their team's ability to market and negotiate on your behalf, whether it's a project or an individual listing. So therefore, surely you want to pick the agency, the brokerage, the team, the individual that can maximize your exposure for you to get the best return, knowing that it's on a range and it's not on a fixed price. Yep. If it was a commodity, a fixed price, then 100%, like Sony say you can only sell a TV for a minimum of 900, then of course you go for the cheapest option.
For sure.
But when it comes to real estate, not every agent is created equal. So just because you think you're saving money on a fee doesn't mean you actually are, because what if there's a team, there's an agency, a brokerage out there that can maximize exposure, which means you can sell it for more. Would you rather get paid, for example, would you rather have to pay 6% on $1 million, or would you rather have to pay 4% on 950? If you do the math, you'll figure out the $1 million, you get more money. So surely you go with the person that could sell it, or the team that could sell it for the most. So that's part of that conversation I have with people all the time. And when I paint it that way, they're like, oh, okay, hang on, that makes sense. And then I back it up by actually going, okay, well, this is what we're able to deliver. Yeah. So it's just approaching it. We've retaken it from that next level of just that affinity of just being a good agent and getting to know and like people to, hey, this is a business and this is how we're able to deliver a product for you and actually have metrics to back up what we're doing.
Nice. And obviously it speaks for itself with how much business is obviously coming.
Yeah, we just this year alone, from projects that are going to be ready and completion this year, we have over $82 million of inventory.
Good for you, man.
Just this year. I mean, there's
good for
more
you.
stuff long term, but yeah.
So as far as these courses that you mentioned, I don't know if you want to go over them or not. As let's say there's agents out there that are looking or wanting to learn. I mean, what are you providing? Because you've obviously accomplished a lot in the last 4 years or better. And I mean, I feel like you got the numbers to back it, and you're making leaps and bounds as far as marketing, social, putting out the content. I mean, what are you teaching? I mean,
so obviously, where I'm at the moment now, I mean, I'm a lot more of a true business owner than I am just a day-to-day agent. I'm still involved in deals, but I'm obviously a lot further along than where a lot of agents are at this point. Agent by Design is a program, like a coaching program that we've put together within our own brokerage that we offer to other agents, that essentially teaches them and gives them the resource and opportunities in the community to basically grow their skills. And I've basically let people know exactly what I did and how I did it.
No shit.
I spoke to you from that transition from where I went from 27 properties in 1 year to 57 sales. I really walk through that in that course for Agent by Design on exactly how I did it and how they can replicate and get, not exact results. So you're not going to go, if I did 27 and you did 27 last year, you get 57, but within reason, you can double your production if you just follow what is prescribed. And I lay it all out there. I talk about, there's 4 different things I told you about how I was able to actually kind of double down and get more business. We call those things the 4 C's, and that's the predictable pipeline process. And that's a very specific way for agents to get more exposure, to get more opportunities, and intertwine within that. I really go into the real nuts and bolts of multiple parts of how I did what I did, from how to conduct a very, very thorough buyer consultation, to set expectations for buyers so they don't kind of go haywire on you and do their own thing.
Which happens.
It happens all the time. If you don't set the expectations up front, I go over how you conduct a proper listing presentation and go through all the different metrics on that to really link those different things together. So some of that stuff I discussed with you with developers, there's a more nuanced way and a smaller kind of way of doing it, but with sellers. So I just break down everything. Like I share everything I've done for the most part and how to do it. Yeah. I mean, I want our industry to be better. Like I want our industry to be better. And if I can have just a small part to play in that by giving people the resources to be a better agent, then that's a good thing in my opinion. So,
I mean, why not?
Yeah. Sharing is caring, right? I mean,
for sure. Then I feel like so many people, they go through these cool growth spurts and they learn a lot really quick, which I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Dealing with the numbers and the money and just people in general. And they feel like they want to pigeonhole or they hang on to it because
they gatekeep. Yeah, they gatekeep.
Exactly.
They gatekeep. Yeah, people gatekeep information, and I mean, obviously, you're paying for this, so it's not like it's voluntary at all. But even some agents out there, they were, even for the money, they won't share it because they think it's like the magic sauce. And I'll be 100% honest with you when I say this. I have that plan. It's not the magic pill by any means. You still have to do the work. But that's the thing. You have to do the work, and I can share with you exactly what I did and give it to you play by play. But most people, they won't execute because it's too far out of their comfort zone. Like I literally have the ability to say to you, hey, Bam, this is the playbook. If you follow this, you will have success. And you as an average person out there, not you're an average person, but if you were the average person out there, you would look at it and be like, you'll start and do some of it and then decide it's too much hard work. So even if I do share it, I'm not going to be replaced or taken over because the cold, hard reality is a lot of people aren't willing to do the work required to get to where their dreams are. Their dreams are bigger than the work they're willing to do.
Well, and people just see the cars, the homes, the lifestyle, and they're like, "Oh, it must be nice."
Yeah, and that's our own fault as agents. If you like, I won't name any names at all because everyone has their own kind of thing, their own shtick, their own personality. If you look at a lot of real estate agents, and there's some in our market, even in Idaho, they very much glamorize the business and they glamorize the industry. And there's G-Wagons, there's massive houses, there's events, there's like watches and all the kind of material things. And I think it unfortunately sometimes really diminishes the hard work we do as agents from behind the scenes, but especially as, higher producing agents, because the public think that we have an easy job anyway. They watch Netflix selling Sunset and all this stuff, and they think, oh, it's a really, really easy job and a really, really easy career, and they get paid all these massive commissions. But the reality is there's a lot of hard work, and everything that precedes your ability to be able to afford these cars, homes, watches and stuff is a body of very, very hard work, which gets completely discounted by people because all the public see is the flashiness, which is, I have some nice stuff and I got a nice home and things like that, but I'm not braggadocious with it or put it in people's faces because I think it gives people sometimes a misconception of the work I had to put in to get to where I got to.
Absolutely. And it's hilarious because, there's so many people that you can just hear success, just follow it, and the amount of people that will just give up. I saw some guy talking the other day how they got a group of individuals and they broke them down. Like if you can finish like these 75 days, you're guaranteed X. Yep. And then in that 75 days, I think it was like 4 or 5 people out of 100 that ended up actually finishing the complete. And it wasn't even anything that was just crazy. It was just some basic, like get up, and they wanted them to just follow a routine every day.
And they're telling them what to do, literally, yeah.
And they couldn't even do that.
And the people that are successful with that type of stuff, typically, just making it full circle, really, is military and athletes. And that's what I attribute most of my professional success to, is just sticking at it, doing the boring shit people don't want to do and that I really don't want to do over and over and over again. That's what got me through that 9 months where I didn't sell anything for that first 9 months, was the fact I look back at the times I was throwing up on myself at Camelback Park, running agilities, doing that crazy shit with those guys with their arms blown off and stuff. Yeah. I look back at those times when things were hard, when I was first kind of coming through, and it just reminded me that you've been through this before. It's different, but you've been through this before. And I think you have to truly go through adversity. I truly believe this. Unless you're a Nepo baby, which is nothing wrong with that. If you hand us stuff, great. I mean, I'm sure we'd all take it if it was given to us. But unless you go through some form of adversity in life, you are going to be limited in your ability to deal with uncomfortable situations, and it's going to limit your ability to be successful to an extent.
Facts, man.
So,
you see those types of, you mentioned veterans or military and athletes. I mean, you're so pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to these breaking points. And then these guys get out. Some of them, it's the mundane, boring thing that breaks them. But I feel like if you could just get past, and it could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be 3 years, but that once that ball starts just slowly getting momentum, I feel like that's when so many people give up too.
Yeah, you see that meme where there's 2 miners, right? And the guy's digging through dirt for gold. And one guy turns around with his pickaxe, and you can see he was just a few more hits away from hitting the gold. And another guy just keeps digging. and that's it. Sometimes we're so close. Like I was that week away from quitting real estate, and it turned around. You just never know. Like
that's what it comes down to. And I feel, you hear all these success stories, and you hear the guys, oh, you just can't quit. But honestly, this podcast is a perfect example. I mean, there's times where it's great, and there's other times where like, fuck, like we don't make money off of this. I do it because I want to grow and I want to have conversations with people. And I think the future is going to this type of stuff, especially as AI grows and people are getting pushed away from AI because you're not going to know what's real and they want to see human interaction, just
genuine interaction,
conversations. So I feel down the road, but like, this is one of those things like, this doesn't pay anything. I mean, it costs me money to pay her to run this shit, And so, it's like, fuck, dude, are we doing the right thing? But I feel like this is one of those things that, we have the momentum, but then there's times where there's zero momentum. It's like, then you want to get to those stages where you get fed up and you're just like, God, do we have to put more money into this? Or is this going to keep costing us this? But I feel it's like, once you have that little ball rolling, you just keep pushing and then it's just, once it goes over the ledge, then you just got to hang on.
Oh, yeah.
And then you end up, beautiful home, beautiful family. You got building your dream Jeep in the garage. And, But that's what it takes. It was that week away from, I can't do this anymore, but it's just that little bit of hope and sticking to it is all it takes.
It can be a dangerous drug, that kind of like, that balance almost. So you seek that discomfort. It can be dangerous because you have to, I've always found it in my life, the closer you get to that dark point, the deeper you're in it, the closer you are to find that success. But it's a risky business because you kind of figure out just how far you can push it. And, like I said, we've had a lot of growth the last couple of years. And the last year, the market hasn't been that great. We did incredibly well as far as sales go. It hasn't been that great. And there's been some dark times to try and navigate certain challenges within that. And I'd say I don't want to have to do it again. After this next roll around, this we're on this ascension right now.
Yeah. You're good.
I say that, but I mean, there's
the market, man. You never know where it's going to go.
You just hold on and do the best you can. But risk is fun, but
that's, I guess, probably a really fun part of being an agent. It's all risk.
Oh, yeah.
And then you work, we have a great deal here. The wife, she's built very, very loyal clientele from the start. And of those referrals, she's never had to go like procure and thorn, but she's not doing this to get us out. She got licensed obviously to help us. And then she does and it just grew into what it is. So she cruises at like her pace and cool. If she wants to be home with the kids all day, fucking perfect with me. She's never even been into her brokerage, to be honest with you, once. I don't even think she's met her broker.
She has to come and join ours in that case. She can see me enough she wants.
She's a solo, leave me alone. She deals her deals, closes a couple of months. Cool. She's happy with it, right? But then you feel like there's these other agents that they get the commission breath. They try so hard and nothing ever works because I feel like if you're going in it chasing money, you're in it for the wrong reason. And that's how you're going to get yourself in trouble.
I've seen guys and girls get burned out that were selling a lot of real estate when things were easier, like kind of middle pandemic and pandemic time. Burned themselves out. They either aren't selling anything at all and not selling much because they were in it for the wrong reasons. Like don't get me wrong, I go to work to make money and I always went to work so I could at least make a living. But money is always, for me, been secondary to purpose. And purpose for me has always been building things. It's always been building something that was worth something. And when I say worth something, I mean like worth something intrinsically, not just financially. If you chase money in anything and that's the only thing you chase, the chances of you being successful and having sustainability are going to be slim.
I feel a lot of people, and it's taken me a long time to realize the same thing, that if you're, I got to grow, I got to do this, I got to make more, I got to make more, I got to make more. When do you hit that happy point?
Oh, it's tough, man. It's tough. I don't know. I don't even know if there's an answer for that because everyone's kind of everyone has an individual idea of what success is and where they want to be. Exactly. Everyone has an individual idea, but it is dangerous because sometimes you may have had everything you wanted and you needed in the beginning and more than you ever thought you would have, and you try and push for more, and then all of a sudden you lose it all, or you just kind of get all jacked up and it reframes kind of what the purpose is.
You hear that phrase, he's got everything, he's got nothing but money.
Yeah,
and they're not happy.
That's true. I've got examples of guys and girls that have some wild success, some success that most people would kill to have, and they are terrible people because their life is miserable in every other aspect. They got a lot of money and they got some material things, but their ability to hold relationships, to take care of people around them, and to be that kind of that force. I think people should be as leaders when they have influence like that. They don't have it.
Not wild.
Yeah. I think, and I've always thought it's bit me in the ass several times, and I'm okay with it because I think I'm doing the right thing. I've always felt that if you get to somewhere you want to get to that is considered prestigious, or you've achieved something that brings gain or brings experiences, you should take the people that helped you along the way with you.
Always.
But that's not as common as I thought it would be, actually. I've met a lot of people that found success that just use people. Stepping stone to get to the next place. But I've always loved to bring people with me, the ones that want to stay around. I've always loved to bring them with me on the journey, because none of us are self-made. Self-made is the most bullshit fucking phrase I've ever heard in my life. No one's self-made. We're a product of our environment, and we're a product of the people we surround ourselves with. So you should bring those people with you, in my opinion. So.
Interesting. I've never heard anybody say it like that.
Yeah. Self-made's not. It's not a real, like, it's a phrase.
Makes sense. Completely.
You have to do the work, but
for sure, completely makes sense. But I mean, you're self-made. But how many people along the way helped you? Get to it. I completely agree with you. I have a guy that he was big, everything self-made, but he was an agent as well. And I always think, like, well, you got a bunch of agents running around working for you, like. Those motherfuckers that are closing deals, and you're getting a percentage of their percent.
You got to be grateful for the real estate agents can be some of the most arrogant people I've ever meet. Like, there's not many out there that don't have some level of ego issues. I mean, a lot of people do, but I feel like it's almost hyperinflated sometimes for them. But I mean, if those people that show up and trust that agent and trust that team leader, if they don't show up, then how are you going to get to where you want to get to? You know? So you have to be appreciative. Don't get me wrong. You can't lose sight of the fact sometimes in a leadership position you are the boss, so to speak. But you can't abuse that. You have to be cognizant of people like giving their life to your life in a roundabout way.
Well, then if you're bringing the people with you, that's what builds that loyalty.
Oh, yeah.
And it just makes life so much more fun because you have your crew that started when you're all grinding in the trenches. And then you could sit there one day, you're like, fuck, dude, we got an office now. And then that office grows and dude, we're bringing on another employees. That to me, I feel is part of success, is bringing that team with you. You all came crawling out of the trenches together, no matter where your lifestyles came from, and then you start seeing it, and everybody. One guy gets a little bit more, and then he's okay. I don't need them anymore. And then you get that division, and then before you know it, you're making the money, but you don't have that team or your boys anymore backing you. I mean, I've seen it a bunch. I've been part of it. It's just like, okay, like I see you. Like who was there with those nights when shit needed to get packed and needed to get done and driven across 3 states, to get it delivered in time so you can make your, your quotas and stuff. So it's cool to see that, like, especially you're dealing with guys and girls on these clients that are probably, the house above you. Guys of that caliber, worth lots of money, and you get to see them and get to know them on a personal level. And the fact you're like, hey, this guy's worth hundreds of millions, but he's miserable.
No, that particular guy isn't.
No, I'm not using him.
No, he's awesome. That particular guy's awesome.
I'm just saying in general. I mean, you're dealing with some of these guys, and they can buy all the houses, the biggest property they want, but I mean, who's standing beside them? It's
weird. It's like wealth and money. So I've been fortunate, or maybe unfortunate enough, to be around a lot of people that have a lot of means, and they're actually no different than any other regular person. It's just money seems to hyperinflate whatever is pre-existing. So if they are an asshole person, they're a really big fucking asshole person. They've got a ton of money. If they're really generous, if they were really generous before, they are even more generous when they get money. So money is just an amplifier of kind of the underlying pre-existing stuff, typically speaking. It doesn't really change people. People say, oh, he got money and he changed. He didn't reach. I got athletes that I know that got money, and people say, oh, he changed when he got money. He didn't change. He was always a fucking asshole. You just didn't see it. Money gave him the platform and the right to be a dick.
I mean,
in his own mind.
I can see that 100%. 100%. You always hear that. Yeah, he changed.
No, he was always a dick. You just didn't see it.
You can't argue that. I mean, it's true. It's how it works. Well, dude, I appreciate
Thanks, man.
you coming on.
Yeah.
If people want to reach out,
Yep.
coaching wise or developers, I mean, nobody watches this show anyways, but anybody that's moving to the Valley, if you're not going to use my wife, I guess I would recommend Elliot here.
We're going to get your wife from my brokerage anyway.
Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah. She loves where she's at because she's never fucked with. She started, and I'll say it. She started with Keller Williams.
Yeah.
And I told her all the time, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I go, one, this looks like a cult to me. Very cultish. Two,
I can't say. I'm not saying you to say anything. I'm not allowed to say anything.
I'm speaking my opinion.
Okay.
And no offense if you're following Undercolor Williams or anything, but you're like, no. I was watching all of this, and I'm watching how much money and the dues and all of this shit, and she's just like, she was crushing. And then they were giving things to these newer agents because they're in the office, and she's just not. She's one of those agents. Leave me alone. Here's my deal. If I have questions, I might reach out to you if I can't figure it out.
That's my type of agent.
And so I went through and to get my license and do everything. And I met with a brokerage, and the guy was like, dude, we would love to, because he's found out I had social media following. He's like, bro, come work for us, all this stuff. So I went and talked to him, and I bullshit him, and I went back to the wife. I'm like, this makes way more sense than where you're at now.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's charging this, like barely anything. He doesn't even want to see you. And so she ended up phone interview. She's still, and I think she's been with him for, it's been like 4 years, maybe more. She's never even been into the office. And he loves her because he doesn't have to deal with her. If there's something that she can't figure out, she'll call or text. He blows her immediately. Here's the answer. Yep, this is good. Do that. And then that's it. And so I run into him at the gym every now and then.
Low maintenance, high output.
Exactly. And he's like, man, it'd be nice to meet your wife one of these days.
That's great. That's a dream.
She's my favorite agent.
Yeah.
Like, you know, never have to deal with her. So yeah, it's fascinating to see how, but some people like that. They like the team aspect and they love being a part of something. And I get it. To each their own, man. But you know, if you got to find that right place that works for you. And it's interesting. So, well, I appreciate it. Oh, but anyways, back to you.
Oh yeah.
If somebody's looking to get a course, learn,
just connect, hit me
up. Yeah. Where do we find you?
So Instagram's that's the main place, public facing. So my Instagram user is Elliot _Hoyte. So it's at ELLIOT _HOYTE. I'm pretty responsive on there. I'll get back to anyone. So
yeah, and you'll see all the videos and the updates on Boise. And I just watched the burger one the other day. I was like,
that ruffled a few feathers.
Did it?
Yeah.
That was crazy here. When
anytime you bring up California or In and Out, you're gonna have a heated debate in the comments.
That's when you get a Texan and a California together, dude. It's
Whataburger can't touch In and Out, dude.
Okay.
The milkshakes at Whataburger are solid.
Yeah.
The fries at Whataburger are better. The cheeseburger, it's not even comparable, man. We all know.
I feel that they're not in the same category though.
Because Whataburger's drunk, messy, eat that
Yes.
Yeah.
I love both, but I don't categorize them as the same because I feel like In and Out. That's a tough one for me. I don't know what I'd have to pick.
Shake Shacks. Shake Shacks. Yeah, depends on what I'm feeling. But Five Guys, Shake Shack, In and Out, Whataburger. Depending on the day, they could all take the crown. It just depends on the day.
That is a valid statement. I get it. But yeah, you mix up Californians and you talk shit on In and Out. Oh my God, you got a fight on your hands. So, well, dude, I appreciate your time, man.
Thanks,
this is a great conversation. It was hilarious listening to you guys almost get murdered by a bunch of disabled vets on the field. And so, but anything that we could do to help and send people away, I appreciate the conversation. And if I could repay it anyway, please let me know. But yeah, this is it's fun to get you on here and shoot the shit.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it,
dude. Thank you.
Appreciate
it. Yeah, that was awesome, man.
Sweet. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
That was hilarious.
That was really good.
Probably a little bit different.